So according to several reports, the NFL was wanting 10 games for Rashee Rice, which is why this thing is going to a hearing at the end of September, which is why Rice is available to play in weeks 1 through 4. Now, this could go 100 different ways. This does not sound good initially, and this is not what we had wanted, right? That the NFL was wanting to be aggressive. It was my guess that the commissioner was going to not want a big, significant punishment. NFLPA said that there's no precedent for this, so this is why it's going to a hearing. There's still a bunch of ways that this could go in a way that's beneficial for Rice, and a bunch of ways this could go that's not beneficial for Rice or Rice owners. But this could still get very, very delayed. Now, here's the thinking about what's in front of us. Rice was potentially, by the NFL's determination, going to get a 10 game, and the NFLPA said, no, we don't want that. We don't like that. There's no precedent for this. Let's go to a hearing. So it's going to a hearing. 10 is not going to happen. 10 is not going to happen. Is there a chance that Rice and a settlement happens before the hearing? Meaning Rice does actually sit weeks 1 through 6. I think that that's becoming a likely scenario. The agreement, the settlement, not dragging this out, not making this a big spectacle. This might have the Rice camp saying, let's take the 6. We wouldn't have wanted the 6, but let's take the 6 games now, not put up a fuss. 1 through 6, he'd be sitting out the first part of that season, of this season. That's what I think is probably going to end up happening. It's hard to say what could happen if this thing went to the hearing. There was, a delay, an appeal, like all different things could push this further and further into the season. Is there a chance that this gets pushed into the playoffs? Maybe. Is there a chance that this could somehow, some way get pushed past the year? It's hard to know. There's no precedent, like the NFLPA said, for this. So who knows to what length this thing can go from the NFLPA side? Who knows how quickly the Rice camp and the Chiefs say, hey, we don't want to risk having you gone during the thick of the season. Let's just take our lumps at the beginning of the year, weeks 1 through 6, weeks 1 through 5, weeks 1 through 7. There's no 10-game suspension coming. I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but I don't think that that's a real possibility here. The request of it was, as some of you said in the chat, like a ludicrous amount of games. There's no alcohol involved, proven. No alcohol proven involved. Although a lot of us speculate that he ran off the freeway because of that, they can't prove that's not a part of the case. You can't just take what you speculate and bring it in. No alcohol proven to be involved. This is his first time in trouble. So this 10 game does not necessarily match the letter of the policy, the letter of the law in terms of his suspension. There's not even a required suspension for a third-degree felony to the letter of the NFL policy and law. So, yeah, Royals to the moon. Royals to the moon. If he does get in there and play, let's say, 6-7 games. But this is going to be interesting to see how it goes down. There's no 10 game. A lot of you keep saying 10 games. That's crazy. Why is he's not getting 10 games? That's what the NFL proposed. So we'll have to play this out. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in. We'll talk about this. I'll open the phone lines in a minute.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So, yeah, we're looking at, if I had to guess right now, this is definitely going to be one of those 6 games, unfortunately. I don't think it's going to be 10. I don't think it's going to be even 8, but it could be. At this point, it could be. But this will probably be something where the NFL agrees to a much lower number just to get it handled and put to bed. And the Rice camp's going to say, we're going to grab a number that is higher than we expected so we can put this to bed and not have to go through a long battle. But it's really hard to say. Proficient, appreciate you dropping the 10 gifted memberships. If you get a gifted membership from Proficient, make sure you let him know you appreciate him, and we will we will keep moving forward on this topic here. If you guys want to call into the phone line in a second, I'll open up the phone lines in 1 second. You can give me your 2 cents on it. There's nothing really to even report at this point other than we are anticipating. Let me get rid of the spammer here. Sorry, whenever we go live near games, there's always some sort of spam in the chat. You know, a lot of people are going to hate on Rice right now. And that's fine. You know, if anybody's saying don't draft him, I see a couple of you Rice haters in the chat. Like, imagine drafting Rice. Rice is a fantastic player. You know, if you're going to get in your feelings and say, I'm not going to draft Rice because he got in an accident and was an idiot on the freeway, you do you, you know, but this is a business, and Rice is a top 5 wide receiver when he's on the field. So you can think of it however you want. If I had to guess, though, I would definitely say this is a 6-game suspension probably coming. It could be 6 to 8. The mere fact that the NFL, surprisingly to me, I will admit, surprisingly to me, I was wrong on how Goodell was assessing this, apparently. But I don't think this will be 10. I think it will be a 6 to 8. Hopefully, it's 6. Is there a world where this goes lower than that? At this point, I don't think so. I mean, just having to look at the situation from an honest angle, there's probably no way that this goes from an NFL wanting 10 games down to something lower than 6. But 6 to 8 probably feels, feels like it's going to be in the cards. And yeah, you know, the league has a lot more information that they've been looking at on this in this situation, and it's going to be kind of a crazy situation. We'll have to see. Value wise, if you're drafting Rice right now, you know, he's going to plummet. And I don't even know how to assess this situation yet until we see what the ADP looks like. I would guess that he plummets into like the 8th round range, which you got to ask yourself at what point, where's your line in the sand in an upcoming draft? You know, I have a lot of Rice shares, I'll admit. I feel like it's going to be 6 games, so at the end of the day, it's kind of priced into where we've been drafting him anyway. Maybe we're drafting him a little high than a 6-game suspension. If he gets an 8-game, the shares currently purchased of Rashee Rice will feel overdrafted for sure. And if he gets a 10-game suspension, which I don't think he will, this is going to go to a hearing because of that reason. The suggested 10 games is a ludicrous amount considering he's a first-time offender. There's no alcohol involved. This is one of those things where, you know, the hearing is for this reason, because the 10 was a ridiculous offer. So they're going to settle. I do believe the Chiefs don't want to be without him in the playoffs. So if it was going to be something along the lines of an 8-game suspension, let's say, they're going to want to get hit with this from the front, just instead of it being like a. But then again, it's like, you know, the delays. Who knows? We have no idea how this is going to go down. It's certainly shocking. Yeah, people are weird. You know, a lot of you that are saying what a bad person he is in the chat right now, and oh, he's a horrible person. Where were you this entire time we've been having these conversations? Why are you flooding in now? You know, trashing the man who made a mistake. And look, no one's saying what he did was right. No one's saying running off the freeway wasn't a cowardice act. I said it when I went live after that. But you guys, some of you guys are wild. You go hiding until, you know, good news for your angle comes out, and then you come running out of the shadows and be like, hey, Rice is such a bad person. He's trash. He's trash. Where were you? Where were you this entire time? Nowhere. You showed up right now because you've got some good news for your angle. But whatever, I don't care. We're here to discuss what to do moving forward. And at the end of the day, you got to prepare for a probably a 6 to 8 game suspension. If you wanted to prepare for 10, you could. I just don't think it's going to be there. I think it's going to land somewhere between the 6 to 8 range. And honestly, if he drops to like the 8th round in a best ball draft, I'm going to smash that value. I'm still going to take Rice because when Rice is on the field, he's a top 5 wide receiver. And there's still a chance he plays the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, if you're drafting in like an eliminator, you got to be really careful with that situation. It's crazy. $20 hauler from Linton. Appreciate you, Linton. Linton coming in strong. Says 10-man PPR league, 1 QB, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flexes. Knicks, Irving, Hendy, Pollard, CD, London, Rice, Ingram, Adams, Sutton, Garendo, Blue, Tootin, Bigsby, Royals, trade idea, Adams, and a first round for Igbuka and a second round. I'm okay with that. I think Igbuka is that good. I would Smitty approve that. Of course, I'd not want you to get rid of that first rounder if it was at all possible. Thank you, Rambo, for the $2 hauler. Monster dropping the first chat of the evening. Who would you pick in the second, London or BTJ? BTJ and London are pretty damn close for me. BTJ's got a top or a bottom of round 1 ADP, and London's got the 1-2 turn, more so top of 2. So if you're looking at ADP, you could say that you know this is one of those things that that you're just gonna have to make a judgment call on what player you like better because they're close enough in ADP. I do believe London is gonna be a top 2 to 5 wide receiver this year. Probably just call him top 5. I think it's gonna be a really big season for him, bro. Really, really big. Let's see here. Worthy for sure. Addison is a bargain. He is. Addison looks pretty good right now. We'll see how his offense shapes out. More info came out yesterday, and it was yesterday. Yeah, there's a lot still being uncovered here, and there's a lot of stuff that we aren't being told too. So hard to really know how to draw a conclusion here this early on with this information. We have no clue how this is going to go. Bottom line is the NFL asked for a 10-game suspension. The NFLPA said that's ridiculous. Let's have a hearing. They're going to meet. Clearly, there's not going to be a 10-game suspension. But I think that it's probably going to be along the lines of a 6 to 8. But 6, if it did land on 6, at the end of the day, 6 is not far off from 4. So that's what everybody thinks. Didn't you just say 1 to 3 games? What do you think this show does? I'm just curious. For all you guys that come in here and just run your mouth constantly, do you want a show that sits back and just waits for things to happen? Or do you want a show that makes predictions and puts their balls on the table? And you're going to not make 100% of all of the predictions, the bold calls where you're trying to dig into the weeds? Like, what do you think this show's doing? You think this show's sitting? Why don't you go watch the Mickey Mouse show that doesn't ever put any sort of prediction or advice or any sort of crazy take on the line? Like, how much do you think you would be accurate predicting anything? That's what I thought, kid. So you can either stay or I'll just boot you out. So if anybody wants to run their mouth right now, let me know and I'll just hit a little button and we'll send you elsewhere. Because this show is going to do what this show does. And sometimes we're going to land stuff on ambiguous calls where we're being bold or we're trying to decipher information. And some of you come in here and you act like, oh, yeah, I can't believe you said it was 0 to 3 games yesterday. We had different information yesterday. Now we have new information. We got to make calls along the way. Do you want me to sit back, twiddle my thumbs, and just say, we don't know what to do with Rice right now. We're just going to not draft him. We don't know what to do right now. Okay, then if you don't want to be here, let's kick you out. There you go. You're gone. How's that feel? How's that feel now that you no longer have the show? You got to say your one line and now you're gone. So that sucks for you. That sucks for you. I wonder how that feels. Okay. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right. So as we walk in to the couple next weeks here of drafting, where we got to make a decision on what to do with Rashee Rice. Where do we draft the guy? If I had to guess right now in a non-best ball, so like a home league, you're probably looking at some sort of like, I would say 8th round value. I don't see how he goes with this threat, the amount of knee-jerk reactions already that it's 10 games, that it's potentially the seat. Like, people are going crazy right now. And you can just read the chat. The chat's going insane. This is a guy that goes no earlier than round 7, I think, in a home league. I just did a draft before this information broke, and he went in round 8. And I was praying he'd fall to me, and he didn't. But now I don't see him going in round 8 in that scenario. But in some scenarios, I think 7, 8 sounds about right. On Underdog, he was going in 5. Right when the news broke that he was going to probably see a suspension this year and not next year, the way everybody thought it would be. In this situation, if we've called one thing right, this thing has been nothing but different at every turn. It's not what we've expected at every turn. Some surprise is waiting around the corner with this situation, and that's constant. Now, while I did yesterday predict, and I'm taking ownership of that, while some of you can't seem to understand that we've got to make bold calls ahead of getting all the information, and that's what you want. That's why you come and watch this show. We're going to miss stuff. And I don't even know that I can even claim what we've missed yet, because all this stuff still has to unfold. There's still a hearing. What if they settle on 6 games? Do I feel like we got punched in the gut on this particular topic if you get 6 games instead of 4? No. Like, it's not. But if it ends up being 10, yeah, that's a huge nutsack kick. But this could be 6 games still. Let's let the dust settle. Let's try and prepare for what we do moving forward. What do we do moving forward? I think he falls in the 7 or 8 round territory, which is a pretty solid place to grab a guy that might still play probably 10, 11 games at a top 5 wide receiver level, which honestly is league winning when you think about it. So there's a new entry point that we got to look at. You can't look at this thing from, we got a lot of spam, so just bear with the mods and I as we boot these guys. When we got whenever the games are going on, the spam bots come in here like crazy. Rice in the keeper Rice in 8, Chase Brown in 8. You got to keep Chase Brown in 8, bro. Phone line. Someone's on the phone line. Let me get this real quickly. Who's on the line here? What's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, actually, I got 2 people. 571. You're live. 571. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah. What's good, Smitty? It's Dom. I called you earlier.
What's up, Dom?
This is a different situation. It was good. I don't know why people acting like they was right about it. They just want somebody, like, they just blaming you for, like, I don't know why they was acting like that for Rashee Rice, bro. Like, it's one lucky assumption, but honestly, nobody expected that. And
well, we don't even know. It's not 10 games yet, though. You're right. But it's not even 10 games yet. Like, the report, which honestly, I haven't seen Schefter. You know how there's a little bit of like a NFL news war going on between some people, some people within ESPN and some people, obviously outside. But it's weird when Schefter, let me see if Schefter or Rappaport have retweeted anything. And I haven't seen them retweet this, which is kind of an interesting thing. You got to take note. What if this report by Pellicero's, or I'm sorry, who was it? Yeah, Pellicero. What if the report by Pellicero is not correct? I mean, we don't really know. Everyone's jumping to a lot of conclusions yet. All we know is the NFL proposed 10 games. They're not going with 10 games. They proposed 10 games. The NFLPA said, hell no, we're having a hearing. And who knows how long this thing could get dragged out, too. There's that component as well.
Right.
There's a way that, I'm not saying that this is an ideal scenario. Mute yourself real quickly, caller, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, cut off for a second.
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me merge this call in. Hold on one second. Everybody on the phone line, mute, but Dom from DC. There's still a chance that, and I don't think that this is the way you want to attack it if you're the Chiefs, but there's a chance that this thing gets dragged out and then he gets suspended at the very end near the playoffs. And I'm not saying that that's ideal, but there is still a world where this guy's like lingering and playing 10 games straight, and everybody's like, what is going on here? This is an absolute joke. But there's no way to tell where this is headed. There's just no way to tell. At this moment in time, will he play weeks 1 through 4? He might not even do that because it sounds like an agreement might be made before the hearing so that the Chiefs don't have to be without the guy. You know, in the NFL will give some leniency to the Rice camp, most likely, if they agree to something ahead of the hearing, to not waste time, not waste resources, make the optics look better, not make the NFL have to go through, you know, any sort of, you know, backlash and media circus. It's like, hey, we're wanting 10. The NFLPA says we'll do 6. And then they agree upon it, and then it's 6 games. And then everybody freaking out right now for nothing. It's honestly, right along the time frame people were expecting anyway.
Honestly, I think they're bracing for the worst case scenario. I think this is the maximum games they could be suspended. I don't think this is going to be. I don't know any reports, by the way. I'm just assuming this might be just a reporter trying to make a headline or something. We don't really know. But I'm still on the Rashee Rice train, and I'm just wondering where I should draft them now because this news is just
Well, the news.
I draft in the next hour. But yeah, that's what I was asking.
The thing you gotta do, especially in this business, is hard. It's hard, especially when you gotta, I'm just being completely honest. You come into a live stream like this, and you're gonna have to. It's my job. I'm gonna have to take some of the negative Nancy's that come in and have problems with me.
Exactly.
Percent accurate on a very tough business of predicting things without all the information, trying to be ahead of the curve constantly. It's going to come at an expense of being wrong once in a while. And if people don't like that, the door's right there. I'm not going to be in here and beg your apologies for being wrong on something when I'm trying to constantly be ahead of the curve. I'm going to miss on stuff. And I haven't even missed yet. It's just projecting this thing is going to be maybe a little worse than I thought. This right here isn't the conclusion. This right here is the NFL wanting 10 games. Where I've been wrong, thinking that Goodell was wanting this to be 0 games. I'll admit, I'll take the L on that analysis, but I'm going to get stuff wrong. If you don't like that fact, if you think I'm going to be, not talking to you, Dom, but anybody out there thinks that I'm going to get everything right, the door's right there. Go watch the Mickey Mouse channel that waits until they have all the information and gives you all the predictions after they've already happened. This is going to happen from time to time. So you can either go that way or you can stay put and say, you know what? Let's see how this goes. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to be 10 games. This right now feels very alarming because the recommendation by the NFL was 10 games, or that was the proposed game amount. Rashee Rice's camp said no. NFLPA said no. We're going to go to a hearing. This is probably going to be hey, let's agree on a 6 to 8 game suspension. The NFLPA is going to go, this is still ridiculous. And the NFL says, what about 6? And they say, we're going to lose this battle, Rashee Rice. If we go to the hearing, you're going to maybe get 8 games. So let's just take the 6 now. Let's calm the media storm and let's sit it out weeks 1 through 6 so that we have the playoffs to worry about. There's no way there's no way he doesn't miss weeks 1 through whatever if the settlement happens before the hearing. If the settlement doesn't happen before the hearing, then he's playing until the hearing. And even if he plays through the hearing, it's going to be potentially something where, it could get delayed another week or 2. And there could be, I don't even know how the appeal process would work on this, whether he'd play through that. There's a lot of unknowns as to how this would go down. But again, so everybody knows, this is, as the NFLPA is saying, there's no precedent for this. The fact that he is not a repeat offender, the fact that there was no proven alcohol to be involved, whether people want to say alcohol is involved or not, it wasn't proven. People are constantly saying that. And so the 10 games is a very, very big number. Very big number.
Yeah, it is.
It does not make sense. And I know people hate that he ran off the freeway. I did. I went live and called him and his entourage of cowards for running off the freeway.
I remember that live.
I was very hard on him. But at the end of the day, it's like, he made a big mistake. He's a good kid, it seems. He doesn't get in a lot of trouble. And it's kind of interesting how many people want to attack his character as a man and say he's never going to be able to change. And, how many of you watching that are judging him right now haven't made big mistakes in your life? How many of you didn't do something, you got really lucky that you didn't hurt somebody, or you weren't in the same situation he was in? How many times in college did you maybe go to that bar and maybe you shouldn't have drove home, but you did and you made it out okay, and now you're here talking trash about Rashee Rice and he may have not even been drinking. So I'm just saying, before you all act like you're you're absolutely in perfect individuals in trashing this man who made
Not
a big
at all.
mistake.
Nope.
Did he do what Ruggs did? No. Did he do what Addison did? Apparently no. Addison should get more of a suspension than he, if there was alcohol not involved in this situation, which we can't prove. There's no evidence at all that there was alcohol involved. So you can't really say anything about that. But the fact that people are acting like Addison should get less of a suspension than Rice, I don't understand that, because he was driving with alcohol involved. Rice was not, reportedly. And there's just no, like, what are we talking about here? This is why, even if I'm wrong on this, my opinion is that even though he was a coward, and Rice was a coward, his whole entourage was a coward. They walked off the freeway when people were in a car. He didn't even know if they were injured or not. What if their life was on the line? They could have been saved, and he didn't. I get it. He's a coward for doing that. That was a cowardice act. He probably regrets it. He probably, if he could go back, he wouldn't have done that. But he wasn't proven to have any alcohol, so we can't assume anything. And honestly, there was reportedly like some weapons or something in the car, and that's what they were worried about. So they took him out, and they rushed off the freeway with him. No one really knows why they ran off the freeway. Some people assume he was drinking. Some people assume that it was because there were things in the car that he didn't want to get caught with. Maybe his buddies had him, and he had nothing to do with it, but he's peer pressured to let him bring it in the car. Who knows? We're making a lot of assumptions that Rice was for sure doing this, or Rice was for sure doing that. But we'll have to see what's going to happen. I am shocked, if I have to be honest, that Goodell's not more on the side of, letting this thing kind of slip past everybody. I am actually shocked that Goodell's taking a hardline stance against his golden team. That I did get wrong.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I drafted the next in the next 30 minutes. So should I just completely put him on a panic chamber, or should I maybe try to get a good value out of him?
I would let him fall until you just say, I don't even like these players right here. Let's smash this value.
Right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because you don't have an updated ADP, so he's going to float to the top for a while. Somebody might pull the trigger early and let him, but you almost got to max this out to your advantage. And anybody that has a lot of Rice shares, there's nothing wrong with doubling down at the new dip, though. You're kind of.
I'm sorry. So is there a world where he just is just a world after the hearing, and say Rashee Rice balls out the first 4 games, is there a chance they even gets a 3-4 game suspension instead of just the whole 10 weeks, or is there no possibility?
To be honest, it's hard to say at this point, bro. Without having any new information, it would be me going out on another limb that I don't think the limb could necessarily support what I'm saying right now. Because it sounds like the NFL even has more footage and details of the situation than we're ever made aware of. And that puts me at a disadvantage to start predicting the future in this situation. I'm not afraid to go out on a limb, but I know in this situation, for me to try and make guesses at this point is putting my advice in a vulnerable position, because I don't know what the NFL's looking at this point. So at this stage, I'm going to say, everybody just let the dust settle a little bit. Go forward. There's 2 parts. Look at it like this. There's 2 versions of you in the 2025 offseason right now. The version of you right now moving forward, and the version of you that's already drafted. You can cry and complain and moan about how this happened back here. You can blame it on me. You can blame it on yourself. You can blame it on your friend. You can blame it on anybody. Or you could just say, there's the person right now that's drafting moving forward, and what do we do? How do we maximize this situation, or avoid it, or run into it? Whatever you decide to do, how do you maximize the opportunity, or eliminate the risk by not drafting him? Whatever you choose to do, my advice would be, let's see where he floats down ADP wise, how far back he falls. And if he gets to a place where you're talking about drafting a player that you really easily believe you could replace with a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt later in the draft, or you could very easily replace with the Marvin Mims later in the draft in the double-digit rounds, and you're sitting there in round 9 and you say, screw it. Round 8, you say, screw it. 8.10, I'm taking Rashee Rice right here, because he might play 10 games still. He might play he might play more than that. We don't really know. He might play less, but at 8.10 or 8.5, and I do think we're looking at 8th round value. The negativity already
honestly,
seems like it's going to drive him down. All right, one more, Dom, and then I got to roll the other phone callers who are waiting patiently.
I got you. I was about to say, honestly, I think I'm going to take this gamble. Like, honestly, this seems more safe than drafting like him in round 5. Anyways, honestly, like I think getting him in round 8, 9, like from like in hindsight, I think that's going to be a possible like high risk, high reward like deal. But I'll see what happens. I drafted the next 30 minutes, so I think that's going to be my choice. Like,
well, also keep in mind, Mahomes is going to take another maybe round below to the ADP, and so
right, okay, yeah.
And I still love Mahomes. This is not changing my tune on Mahomes. Mahomes is worthy, firing on all cylinders. Mahomes has Royals to step in if need be. You still have Rice playing probably at least 10 to 9 games minimum. I think I mean, you can almost guarantee he's playing 8 games for sure.
Week 1, week 4. Yeah.
There's no way they're going into the hearing with the 10-game recommendation and coming out with the 10-game recommendation. This is going to be at most 8 games. And I'm guessing again, I don't have a crystal ball here. I'm guessing 8 games at most. I'm guessing 6 games is the landing spot, the sweet spot. Maybe it's in between. But that's what I'm guessing. And if you take that off of a 17-game season, he's in the 11-game range, where he'll probably be in the 10 to 11-game range, which is pretty good. Like, you're getting that guy in the 8th round, and he's scoring like a top 5 or 7 wide receiver. I'm feeling good about that.
Value, bro.
And Mahomes is going to have Rice. Will be without Rice for 6 games. But what people don't realize is Mahomes is playing at a top 2 quarterback level from the last 5 played games, the same territory that Worthy was popping off. So Worthy's like final 2 regular season games and the 3 playoff games played as a top 2 wide receiver if you extrapolate that scoring across a fantasy season. He was number 2. He would have been number 2 wide receiver material if you take his last 5 played games, Worthy. If you take Mahomes' last 5 played games, the 2 regular season played games and the 3 playoff games, the same time frame that Worthy was in his zone and matured into the NFL receiver that he is today, Mahomes is QB2. So without Rashee Rice, Mahomes is playing at a top 2 QB level for the last 5 games played. So I'm not worried about Mahomes. Once Mahomes gets Rice back for 10 games, he's playing to the degree and levels that I projected, and I still think he gets there anyway because Worthy's so far along now. They've got Brashard Smith, they've got Royals, they've got Hollywood Brown, still there. This is Kelsey dropped 20 LBs. Gray will step up if he needs to. They improve the offensive line. Pacheco's back. Like, there's so many weapons here. Even if Rice never played a single down, Mahomes is still capable of top 5 QB numbers. He's just capable of 1 to 5 if he has Rice in the lineup. He could be QB 1 to 5 if Rice is in the lineup. He can be top 5 if Rice is not in the lineup. Proven by last year not having Rice at all and Mahomes playing as a top 2 quarterback the final 5 played games that he played. All right, I got to go, Dom from DC. Call back a little bit later if you got another question. Appreciate you. Let's go over to Travis Road, then over to New Age Outlaw, and then over to the 909. 909, stay muted real quickly. Travis, you're live, and then I got to get to let me get these super chats real quick, Travis, then over to you. Benji, $19.99 hauler, $20 hauler. Appreciate you, Benji, alert. To the moon.
Super chat alert.
Benji says the following. He says, Dynasty 12 team, 1 QB, got the first from the worst team in the league, easy, top 3. Thinking of trading it back to him to get Tet or Harvey plus Warren. Good trade or not? I like Tet, but I don't love Tet versus the 1.1 for next year. You're saying top 3. I don't mind it. I'd rather have Harvey and Warren. That would be amazing. That's a fantastic trade. Good trade. I don't know much about the top guys next year. Don't worry about the top guys. Jeremiah Smith is not coming out next year. He's coming out in 2027. So Jeremiah Smith's not even in the 2026 class. But everybody ripping on the 2026 class doesn't really know what they're talking about, bro, because those guys haven't even played their final college season yet. And we're judging whether the class is good. Keep in mind, Joe Burrow would have never even been Joe Burrow if he didn't get his final played season. There are some players that only play one electric year. And so let's let these guys have a 2025 college football season before we start saying that the draft class is trash. Like, it's wild to me. But I would take Harvey and Warren in a millisecond. That's a fantastic trade. Sunbeams, appreciate you. Third pick, 10 team. Would you rather build your team around Gibbs, Bijan, Brown, Bucky, or Lamb, JJ, Chase, Bucky? These questions are really hard to answer because you're talking about 50-50 calls and like 7 different variants of it through one question. There's no way to really answer this question. I can just say I'd rather have Bijan over Gibbs most times, but I want both shares of both, so I would divide it a little bit. If I had 3 drafts, I might take 2 Bijan and 1 Gibbs, or I'd take one Chase, or if I had 4 picks at the number 2, let's say, and I had a chance to get Bijan, Gibbs, Lamb, and Jamar Chase, I want 1 share of each. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as Brown, Bucky, I like Bucky more than Chase Brown, but I love both of them. I like Lamb over JJ every time right now with the hamstring. And Chase Brown or Bucky, it's Bucky. As far as the combos, it's you can't really. There's not a way to really say that. Otherwise, I'm just leading it down. I'm answering the question because you asked it. I'm not going to just make up something, So it's like Jamar Chase, Gibbs, Bijan. It really comes down to what you think you can land in 2. Are you going to be starving for wide receivers and the wide receivers aren't there? So that decides whether you go running back or wide receiver. In non-best ball, I usually do go Bijan if I've got the 1 pick, or Gibbs, and then I go Jamar Chase and then Lamb. But that's if I can get Chase Brown and Kyron and guys like that in the second round. If you can't, that means it's gonna be tough, to not go. If you can do that, you could go Lamb or Jamar Chase and then get Chase Brown and Kyron, and then I'm fine with that. But if you can't get those running backs, you might want to take the RB at the top. But Bucky, to me, is a top 12 overall player. So Chase Brown's a top 15. So they're still both amazing, both elite. But Bucky, I have as a guy that could finish as the RB2. If he has the year that I think he can have. Full PPR, start 2 and 1 flex. How often should I be rotating players based on matchups and trends? Harvey Hendy. When you're talking about Hampton, Harvey Hendy, we need more information about their situations. But Hendy's probably going in no matter what. Hampton's probably going in no matter what right now, but the moment we hear even more reaffirming evidence that Harvey's playing all 3 downs, then we switch over and have a big debate. Right now, if I had to lock it in because of what we know right now, Hampton and Hendy, and then, Rice, right now is playing week 1, but that might change if they do come to a settlement before the hearing, which I think they probably will. It's in their best interest too if you're the Chiefs. Chase and Hampton or Bijan and JSN. Pretty dead even. I'd probably say in redraft I would want Chase and Hampton, and maybe in Dynasty as well. But that's a really, really close call. Really close call. All right, thank you for those super chats. Any more will be answered in order in which they're received. Travis, go ahead. You're live.
Hey, yeah, first of all, the 10-game thing, like you said, isn't what he's going to get. That's a start of a negotiation with a union, like we've talked about. 10 games would be unprecedented. I think 8 might even be unprecedented. Maybe they want to make an example, but 6 still sounds, more likely. But aside from that, looking at the fantasy side of things, would you take Worthy and Rice now in a draft, or would you still be looking for one or the other, or what's your approach in terms of Worthy now? Because Worthy, obviously, if he gets 6 games, Worthy's value probably goes up a little more.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a settlement and it's at the beginning of the season.
So Worthy, if Rice is going to get, if we're going to all assume Rice gets 6 games, 6 to 8 games, I think assuming 10's ridiculous. They're going to a hearing because of 10. 10 is not going to happen. Anything can happen, but it's very, very unlikely. So we'll call it 6 to 8. I'm going to gravitate towards 6 because I just believe that if they settle on something, it's going to be the NFL giving way quite a bit to say, let's make this go away. And to not go to a hearing, it's going to have to be almost a number they don't want to accept, so it's going to probably be like 6. But I don't think that they like 8. I think they would go to a hearing for 8. So they'll go to the hearing for 8. 8's too much. But they will say, Rice, look, you better take the 6, pal. You know, I know you want to take this to the hearing, but you might get 8 in the hearing. So let's go with 6, and then he's going to go fine. And then he sits out 6. We're all bummed. But we're talking about a 2-game difference from the 2 to 4 game suspension projection or whatever. So 4 was where we landed on initially. Yesterday, it was feeling like it was going to be a 1 to 3. But yeah, 4 is where we've kind of landed on this the entire time. On the grand scale is where it's kind of been for me. I admit yesterday I was leaning 1 to 3 for sure. It is what it is. But I think 6 is where we land, which isn't that far off. If 6 is the number, and we assume 6, not even 8, we assume 6, he is a probably 7th or 8th round pick. Worthy, with this information, probably goes easily into round 4. And he deserves that. I don't know that if people put him in 3, we'll have to see what that feels like in a draft. I don't know that I can even give you my assessment of whether I would be good with the 3-4 turn, but he's certainly a better option than Ted McMillan at 3-4 on Underdog. Now, people are listening right now going, Ted doesn't go in 3. He does on Underdog. He goes at the 3.10 to the 4.4 roughly. And it's way too early for Tet's an amazing league-winning player in 6 or 7 especially. But he goes too high. Worthy, if he went there, I think that's something you got to look at and consider. It's not a bad value. Like, Worthy's really, really good if Rice is out for 6 to 8 games. Worthy's going to be a league winner, you know, and so people will start drafting him that way. Those that have drafted Worthy, you know, early on when he's been in the 5th round lately, are gonna make out like bandits if Worthy, because Worthy's a weapon. As we said, he's probably one of the best. Him and Travis Hunter will be 2 of the best players at and around the goal line. Just amazing players that can score at any time they touch the ball. They'll be some of the most used players inside like the 10-yard line for teams in terms of wide receiver usage. Worthy's going to be so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing real quick, I'll let you get to those callers. Just judging off this chat, we'll have to see what other people do. A lot of people are just going to run away from Rice, at least until the number comes down. I mean, people are writing him off completely.
Yeah.
And on top of it, a ton of people are saying, which they already were, but they're saying, I'd rather have C.J. Stroud than Mahomes now. I'd rather have this guy than Mahomes now. So there's got to be discounts on these guys all over the place. And Mahomes, to me, isn't affected all that much. Like I've said all offseason, they have the depth that even if Rashee Rice disappeared off the face of the earth, they're still going to have an elite offense.
Yeah.
They're going to throw it.
Mahomes is a top 5 to 6. We'll call him even top 5 to 6 to be safe for those that don't want to put him 5 because of the 5 QBs. You could argue. Yeah, like Mahomes is the QB 6 easily. But top 5 to 6 without Rice the entire season. Top 5 to 6 without Rice the entire season. If Rice comes back and plays 10 games, he's a top 1 to 5 quarterback during those games, and he's a top 5 quarterback, top 5 to 6 quarterback during the games without him. And people forget how much this offense and everything has been improved upon. And they didn't have Rice last year. So the fact that Mahomes played at a top 2 QB level in his final 5 played games alongside of Worthy playing at a top 2 wide receiver level in his last 5 games played, it's not a coincidence that they both balled out. They both absolutely balled out if you extrapolate that data across a 17-game season. Their final 5 games played, they were both top 2 at their position. Mahomes was going like nuclear in the final 5 played games. And that includes a pretty mediocre game for the both of them. Not cherry picking and isolating that game out. Like, hey, if you take his final 5 games but take out the bad game, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying you go from the 2 regular season games and all 3 of the playoff games, one of which was mediocre. They both, if you take that 5-game average in fantasy points, extrapolated across 17 games, they were both 2 and number 2. Number 2 in quarterback play, number 2 in wide receiver play. So, take that for what it is. When people have a weird reaction to say, okay, if we lose one piece, we're going to hit it hard. It's going to be you take away Rice and this offense is going to suck. Whereas if you never even knew that Rice was going to play, you still would look at this offense very positively and say, wow, he's got Worthy, he's got Royals, Rashard Smith, Pacheco's back, drafted one of the steals of the entire draft on the offensive line in Simmons, who's literally going to be a potential steal of the entire 2025 NFL draft. Their offensive line's improved. Everything looks great. They're going to throw more. Mahomes put on some muscle. Hollywood's back. There's so many weapons. This is a top 12 pass catching room in the NFL without Rashee Rice, and Rice is not out for the year. He's going to play probably 10 games at least, is my guess. And even if it was 8, let's say he only played 8 games, that is still 8 games where Mahomes is a top 4 or 5. I'd even say just top 4 pass catching room in the entire National Football League for at least half of a season, but probably more like 8 games. So
yeah, and I would guess that whatever happens, however many games he gets, I would guess they're going to try their best, unless it becomes a huge drawn-out negotiation, to get it over with early. They don't want to lose him at the end of the year, because I know that's a worry for a lot of people. So I would think they try to get it done early. I guess, like you said, if there's a negotiation that drags out or something, there's that risk. But something tells me they'll come to a settlement.
Yeah. All right. Hang tight. Let me go over to these callers here. New Age Outlaw, what's up, my boy?
Hey, I just had a couple questions. First, this one might be stupid. If you get suspended and it's over a bye time, does that count as a game served or towards your bye or your suspension?
If you what? Say it one more time.
So if you're suspended 8 games and it goes over your bye week, does that count as one of your games served?
No. You have to you have to be suspended for the game. Yeah, no, bye week doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, and then my last thing was,
No, I was just gonna say, Soda, Super Soda. You keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over, bro. And I didn't put you in timeout. You probably got put in timeout by a mod. So while you're sitting here and blaming me over and over and over, would you like me to put you in timeout? Would you like me to do the honors? Because I don't understand what you keep saying over and over.
I put him in a timeout now because he's going on and on and on about last show when he got put in a timeout because he was going on and on and he was attacking people in the chat saying that, you can't make a trade without Smitty, blah, 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 blah. So if he wants it all put out on the line, that's what it is.
Yeah, hey, Soda, if you want to be here, let me know.
I have no problem with him either.
Yeah, Soda, I have no problem with you.
Keep the chat.
I have no problem with you either if you want to stay, but your behavior is eventually going to get you kicked out. So you got to decide whether you want to be a part of the community or be against the community. I don't put people. First of all, I got mods that do stuff too. And they don't. Sometimes they don't do stuff that I do. So casting blame without even knowing what's going on is weird. Number one. Number two, this notion that I don't let people disagree with me is hilarious, because I have an open phone line where I'm arguing constantly with people and they can call in and voice their opinion. But what I don't tolerate is somebody that's trying to be a disruptor and somebody that's in the chat trying to rile people up and be a very, very disruptive person that's saying cruel things to people or going at people, like Travis just said. So for anybody, let me just clear it up right now. For anybody that thinks that I just block people who disagree with me, you're wrong. And you can say whatever you want about me, paint whatever story or narrative about me you want. This is a show that very much lets you speak your mind more than any other channel. Try going on to one of the big network channels and start saying some of the things you're saying. See how long you last over there. And to the notion that I don't let people disagree with me, why do I have an open phone line? Why am I the only person that takes open phone calls constantly throughout an entire show every single day, 6 to 8 hours sometimes in some parts of the year, where I'm taking phone calls the entire time? That's what I thought. So you can keep doing this, or you can decide whether you want to be a part of the community in a positive way. So Soto, I didn't put you in timeout, but while you're in timeout, think about it. And when you come back, you can let us know. Based on your reaction, we'll make a decision. Go ahead, New Age or Travis, whoever was talking, New Age or Travis.
I just have one.
What?
Okay, my other thing was for Rice or whatever. The best way to value him for safety and upside is half a round above Ayuk to a round above Ayuk. That's kind of what I'm using as the safety thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use Ayuk as a barometer. I think Ayuk is a tough player to rank in his own right. And Ron, appreciate you, Ron, dropping a $20 hauler in the building. Ron Navy in the house.
Alert. Super chat.
Yeah, I wouldn't use Ayuk as your barometer. I would just say right now, because you don't know where he's gonna go. And he's not gonna play for a while, and who knows where people value him. But I would say, like, I'm drafting Rice way before Ayuk. I'm drafting Rice probably, I would say, when you get to a place where you say to yourself, and I don't know where that is yet, I got to be live on the clock before I can truly, figure out where that is. But I think when I can tell myself, see Marvin Mims downstream, I'd be okay starting Marvin Mims and waiting on Rice. I'm going to go ahead and take Rice here. Or something to that degree. So we're talking about wide receivers that you're okay not drafting. I'm not talking about Debo's. I'd take Debo over Rice right now. I'd take Ibuka over Rice probably right now. It just kind of depends on what we're talking about. Ibuka could go around 6 now. He's climbing higher and higher. Debo goes around 6. Rice is going to go at least in 7 or 8, I would guess, because people are going to really, really overreact, extremely overreact. And so he should fall.
Well, what's Jaden Reed going in? Because I would draft Rice over him. Still.
BBQ dropping 2 wads. Reed's going about, let me pull up the ADP on Reed. I want to say I'd probably still draft Rice over Reed if I was in a vacuum. But I believe the ADP, I believe the ADP might allow us. The ADP might allow us to get Rice after Reed. Still, I'm not saying that I would go against what I can get away with. I'm just telling you, like, in my mind, I'm thinking I love Reed a lot, but he's in a walking boot right now. Jordan Love doesn't know how to utilize him. The Green Bay Packers and play calling doesn't suit Reed's capabilities either. And so, that's a player that's got a lot of risk in his own right. So if you're talking about risky player versus risky player, give me the guy that could be a top 5 wide receiver per start. But, let me give you an idea. So we're talking about Ibuka going in the 60s. We're taking Ibuka. Debo going in the 60s. We're taking Debo. Once we get to after Jordan Addison and we start getting around Shakir, Godwin's got his own risks. He might not be ready for who knows how long. Shakir is banged up right now and lives in a rotational environment. Michael Pittman Jr., Jaden Higgins, who knows how he plays. Those are the players that go right after Josh Downs, Reed, and Jordan Addison. So I think that 80 range feels pretty damn good. 80 overall right now for Rashee Rice would be a home run. And I'd take it every single time. I don't even think I would mix it up. If Rice is there in the 80s, I'm smashing it 100% of the time.
Okay, that's all I needed.
But you're
confirmation.
But the fact that you said Jaden Reed, that's right where I'm talking though. So that's a good name to throw out because it's right there. The question is, do you take a Jacoby Myers over Rice? I take Rice over Jacoby Myers. That's right where he is too. Juwan Jennings, who's injured right now, and he's holding out and all that. Who knows if he's really injured or if he's just holding out for money. But I'm taking Rashee Rice over Jennings, over Jacoby Myers, over Stephon Diggs. And Diggs is going at 68. So there's some some leeway as to where I'm still going to take Rice over a guy ranking in the 60s when his name's Diggs. And I like Diggs. I don't hate Diggs. I don't draft him a ton, but I'm certainly not drafting Diggs over Rashee Rice because the upside of Rice once he's in my lineup is league winning. Let me get these two super chats out of the way here. BBQ with a $20 hauler.
Alert.
Then a 50.
Super chat alert.
BBQ, appreciate you. BBQ says 10 minus 4 games played to start equals 6 possible games suspended, and that could change to 4 depending on behavior negotiations. NFL is about money. They're just doing image control. I'll buy at the discount on the Chiefs, says BBQ. We still don't have all the information, and like I said, and like Travis and I believe Travis and I were talking about at the beginning, is Ian Rappaport and Schefter haven't really retweeted this yet. And sometimes there's a little bit of information war and tug of war. And sometimes Schefter and Rappaport don't retweet something because they're bitter. So it could be that they didn't get the information first, and so they're just mad and it's actually legit. Or it could be there's something else going on. So I'm not trying to hold out hope that this is maybe bad information. But it does sound like, they're not everybody's, confirming it, retweeting it, and making me feel like we know exactly what's going on yet. That's kind of the way I'm feeling on it. Smitty, you never have to apologize to us for taking a position. That's why we love this show. You lead the way, make the calls. Other content creators won't. And I, you know what? I don't necessarily need any sort of pat on the back or anything like that. Or Smitty, you want a hug? I'm not. Look, it is what it is. Oh man, the phone line just disconnected on everybody. Ron, what's up, Ron? Everybody else, call back in. Travis, New Age Outlaw. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It's ridiculous. I don't have it on an auto answer, but when my computer needs to be restarted, sometimes a phone call will bump everybody off. It's weird. Ron Navy, hold on 1 second. Let me merge these guys back in. Travis, hold on 1 second. I'll merge you back in here. New Age, call back in. And there was another phone caller on hold. If you want to call back in, I'll get you back in the mix here. But yeah, it's not that I'm gonna get things wrong, and I didn't even really get anything wrong officially yet, but it is trending in a direction that did not jive with what I was suggesting yesterday. But I mean, what do you want me to do? What's the alternative? Because we've been pretty damn accurate all offseason, and maybe it's my fault for tooting our own horn for too long yesterday and the day before on some of the calls. The calls are not always going to be 100% right. I am trying to predict things in a lot of ways with not all of the information. I'm trying to read the tea leaves, and in this scenario, it appears that I thought that the commissioner and the league would be in favor of a smaller suspension, not a longer, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we still don't really know. We're still waiting for confirmation that this Palacero report is correct because no one else is reporting it but Palacero. And how often do you hear Palacero giving the breaking news? It's not always that often. So we don't really even know what is in store. Maybe 10 games. It's very possible someone had a conversation with somebody that had a conversation with somebody that said one time someone mentioned 10 games. Do you think he should? We don't even know. We have no idea. All I know is this is going to a hearing. He's probably going to play the first 4 weeks of the season unless they settle, which is a possibility because if they're feeling like if the 10 game report is correct, they're feeling like they're going into a buzzsaw at the end of September where they could maybe get the NFL to be lenient now if they just admit and take responsibility now. Let's do it now. And then it becomes a 6 game suspension. But I appreciate this anyway. And BBQ to the moon. Ron Navy, thank you for your super chat.
This call is being recorded.
Ron Navy, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty?
What's up? I don't know who that is.
I agree with you on your take with Rice. I mean,
Ron, we can't hear you. Are you on the can or what's going on? You sound like you're in the latrine.
Sounds like he's across the room.
You might have a headset.
I'm sounding.
There you go.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. You must have been cooking a steak.
All right. I was in Travis's bathroom.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's odd.
with the echo.
That's
What are you
odd.
doing there, Ron?
What are you,
I'm in my bathroom, Ron.
what are you doing in Travis's bathroom, Ron?
What are you
I'll stay
usually
away
doing
from there.
Travis catching the strays for no reason. Travis, you got to keep your door
I just
locked.
want to know. I just want to know why Ron's hiding in my bathroom.
That's really scary. I've wondered why, when Gump says he's over at my house, I look behind curtains and doorways. All right, go ahead, Ron.
No, I mean, you're 100%. You can't. How can we? We're every time nobody knows what the NFL is going to do. It's always different. They have no consistency. The NFL has no consistency. We know that over all these years. Roger Goodell has no consistency in handing out punishment, and so it is. It's a big crap game, and you're just doing your best to guess what's going to happen or what could happen. And we know that Roger loves the KC Chiefs, and we figured, okay, well, he might go a little light because it's the KC Chiefs.
Well,
you never know.
In fairness, I have said quite a bit, almost every show, that the NFL is a heavy hand one moment, and then they don't the next moment, so you never truly know. I mean, I have said that 1,000 times, but I will admit that I took a very hard line stance yesterday, that it felt like it would be a 1 to 3 game suspension. And there's nothing I can do about that. And the thing is, we don't even really know if this report is 100% accurate because it's coming from Pelissero. And I can't remember the last time he broke something. I just can't. So, I mean, I don't know. We don't even know if this is true. It could be that somebody mentioned this one time, but it's not really what they were thinking. Like, we have no clue.
In the past, whenever he has done something, he's usually he won't come out and say nothing unless he knows. And he probably, and I think in the past, hasn't he gone through, sometimes doesn't Shep and Schiffler give him a bone?
Schiffler.
I mean, he break things once in a while.
Schiffler? Who's Schiffler? That sounds like something you're doing in Travis's bathroom. Taking a Schiffler.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. The reason, if they do throw him a bone once in a while, why aren't they retweeting it, or they usually repost or retweet something, and we're still waiting. Like I'm refreshing, and neither Schefter or Rappaport are reporting on it. So I don't know, man.
Well, Schefter, he was doing a draft. I saw a thing where somebody was covering the live draft they were doing.
Yeah, but he's always on his phone. He's still on his phone.
Huh?
He's still on his phone doing all its work, so he doesn't ever slow down for that. Anyway.
But the thing is, Smitty, and I'm gonna let you go because I gotta.
Yeah, you got a steak to cook. Somebody's in.
Get out of my bathroom.
You gotta sneak out of Travis's house.
Over 3 years, yeah, I gotta sneak out of Travis's house. But
You got 5 minutes, Ron.
3 years I've been listening to you, Smitty. In 3 years, we've gone through agreements, disagreements, 100%. You always let me talk, whether I disagree with you, whether I agree with you, whatever. And for somebody to come in and say that you ban people, whatever, you are the only only content out there that takes live phone calls, that will sit there. And I think you enjoy it just as much. Like when you and me get in a debate, I think you enjoy it too, because it's like the psychology of everything, right? You like proving me wrong, and
sometimes.
and sometimes, and it goes like that, and it's a challenge, and it's fun, and that's what makes it such a great show.
Yeah, thanks.
You're not like that. You don't get all buttholes and pissed off. I think I maybe seen you legitimately probably irritated maybe in the last 3 years, maybe 5 times.
Maybe. Hey, Ron, a lot of people, I appreciate those kind words. A lot of people are saying in the chat that you must be serving some of Rice's time for him right now, because it sounds like you're in a holding cell or something. All right, Ron, appreciate you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Later, Travis. I already out the window.
Hey, Ron.
So.
All right, hold on, caller. Caller, mute yourself, caller. I just added you. got this. Okay, let me go over to. I got a lot of you on the line, so bear with me. It might be a little bit of time. Let me go over to the. Let's go over to Elgin real quick. Elgin, as snappy as you can. Thank you, Ron, for the $20 hauler. Thank you, Ozzy. He says with the third pick, PPR Chase or Bijan. I'm going Bijan in a vacuum, but it depends on what you can get down in the second round. You know what I mean? Like go wide receiver if you're literally going to get Bucky and Kyron, but go Bijan if you think it's going to running backs will be consumed a ton. And then go ahead, Elgin, and I'll answer this in a second.
Real quick question, Smitty. With Bucky and Chase Brown, because I got the first pick, I'm taking Jamar Chase. If they fall to me, would it be overthinking if I take Hampton over one of them?
Over Bucky or Chase Brown in a dynasty, or was it a dynasty?
Yeah, no, this is just redraft. Yeah, redraft PPR.
I mean, it's like, it's like buying a $300,000 house for $500,000. When it's appraised for $300,000, the person's offering the house for $300,000, and you go $5. Like you Hampton's going in the third to fourth round.
Yeah.
You know,
that's how bad I want him though. I know he's not gonna make it back to me, so I'm just.
But do you hear what you're saying? That's how bad I want him. You're willing to literally, risk it all.
I think he's gonna have a great season though. With the team he's around. Yeah. I think he's gonna break out. So I'm just saying, would it be overthinking if I do that? That's all.
Well, yeah, it would be. But I do think that if everybody's gone and you're sitting at the 2-3 turn, then I don't mind going Hampton at 3-1. If Bucky's gone, if London's gone, if those players are gone, Achan's, like all those players are gone. Yeah, I'm okay with damn, I went Jamar Chase and it's Chase Brown and Hampton. I'm fine with that. But I think if you're passing Bucky, you're gonna not like that outcome.
Yeah,
but I like Hampton a lot. I think I like Hendy more than Hampton, and have all off season. But I'm drafting Hampton ahead of him because I can. See how I'm doing that? I'm using the logic of Hendy. I can get away with getting him later. Even if I want him bad, I want him bad. Like you want Hampton bad. I'm still not going to take Hendy at the 2-3 turn. I don't need to. So you got to be
right. And I think. Right, and I think Henderson, he may fall back to me though. I really want him to though. So, all right,
my boy.
That's all I have for you. Thanks.
All right, thank you. What has your favorite roster size for a 10-man PPR home league? Thinking of 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex. So I play in a league that's a 10-man, the one that I've shown you guys over and over and over. And I love the format. It's 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, and 2 flex and 1 tight end. I like the 2 flex and 2 running back, 2 wide receiver. I think that adds a lot of fun, and it makes the draft where it's not heavy one position. It's just very nicely balanced, so that you don't have to worry about these crazy heavy running back runs or crazy heavy wide receiver runs, which could be fun, but in general, it also gives you flexibility to have everybody, stay in it to win it all season long, because when you have a 3 wide receiver requirement and then 2 flexes or a flex on top of that, teams that don't have deep wide receivers can fall out, and then their team sucks, and then they give up. So to have that flexibility of your flex play, having 2 flexes that could even be tight ends if you needed to be, it makes people stay competitive, if you wanted my honest opinion about that. Let me go over to this caller here. We have the 765. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Smitty, how you been?
What's that?
It's Adam from Indiana.
It's who from Indiana?
Adam.
Adam. What's up, Adam?
Not too much. So if you said you think Rice is probably going to fall to around about that 8th, and you said pretty much, or if he's around that 8th, you swooping him up. But if he goes and plays the first 4, do you think maybe I would personally take him a little bit higher, because I think I could build around him currently. You know what I mean? I think you can pretty much do anything depending on how just depending on how you build around.
Well, like I said, if you're sitting there around 8 and he's there and you got Jacoby Myers, I'm taking Rice over Jacoby freaking Myers. It's not like Rice is out for the year. It's not like Rice is injured right now. You know, Rice is a league winner, top 5 to 7 wide receiver per start, and you smash the hell out of that value when you get a chance. And then you could draft Marvin Mims, like I said, to fill in. Like Marvin Mims and Rice for 17 games, only using one at a time. So you use, let's say, Marvin Mims for 6 games, then you use Rice for the remaining part of the season. That's a top 10 wide receiver. You know?
Yeah. I was thinking getting a bouquet to fill in while you're waiting on him as well. Like he feels like the kind of player that could be there for you while you're waiting for him to get ready, get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
But if he gets the first four games, I mean, in the first 4 games, he could help you so much. Where as long as you drafted well, you can get through the 6. If it has to be in the middle of the season, however they decide to do it.
Yeah.
But 10 games is
he's
crazy.
not good.
I know that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, could I be wrong on this? Yeah, but I think 10 games is not. It's not even close. I don't even think that's the close number. I think it's going to be 6 to 8. Even if you said 4, even if you said 4 to 8, just to cover every base, whatever, it's probably going to be in between that. So 6 games. If you think about it logically, and honestly, none of this has been logical so far. Everybody thinks that Smitty's gotten this all wrong and you've called it right. Did anybody think that he'd be sitting in a position to play the first 4 games? No, this whole thing has been kind of the one part I did get right is that this will be like no one expects it. And unfortunately, that means me as well. That this situation will be a weird one that no one expects to happen the way that it happened. And that's what we're getting right now, a heavy dose of that. So no one's gotten this right. Nobody. Because no one in their right mind said he's going to be able to play weeks 1 through 4, then serve a suspension if it does go to the hearing. If it doesn't go the distance to the hearing because they want to get it down to as low a number as possible, a number that the hearing won't give them. You know what I'm saying? The only reason you're going to settle before the hearing is because Goodell's going to offer a number that you will not get in the hearing. And is that going to be 8? No. If they say 8, then they're going, we'll see you at the hearing. And he's going to play the first 4 games. The Chiefs get out to a hot start, and Andy Reid says, let's roll the dice. Let's go to the hearing. Give me the 4 games of Rice. Let's start off 4-0, and let's go from there. Because we can recover from a 6-game. This is why I keep saying it's better for him to serve the suspension in the middle of the year. I don't care what anybody tells me. If you're going to give 6 games, but you're not going to serve it in the middle of the year if they come to an agreement before the hearing, because you don't have a choice to go, hey, Roger, can we serve it on this game, and this game? You don't get to do that. It's immediate and it goes into motion. But you're much better off missing 6 games in the middle of the year than the first 6 games because you can't get in a rhythm. They'll get in a rhythm, he'll step out, and then he'll step right back in and things will still be cooking. Not to mention, if Rice serves a suspension in the middle of the year, it's better for Royals, it's better for Rashard Smith, it's better for the entire offense to drive. Hollywood gets healthier. All this is in motion in a way that you can't unravel it. It's just like Rice is going to step out having a little water break, and then he comes right back in and he's firing on all cylinders. But if they settle and agree before the hearing, that means that they're coming to an agreement and the suspension will take effect immediately and he'll be out the first 6 games. It's probably going to be that. If I had to guess, and it's really hard to guess at this point, I just want you all to know that before you come in and get all upset later. It's probably looking like a 6 to 8 game. I would lean towards 6. It's not 10. This gross overreaction, I have to put this in the headline. I have to talk about it. I know people think, oh, Smitty, 10 games, you really screwed this one up. This is what's being talked about. It doesn't mean this is what's happening. This is what's in the news right now. Doesn't mean I agree with it. Doesn't mean it's actually happening. And doesn't mean that 10 was actually a number that was truly floated out there. Unless maybe it was talked about once. And even the NFL side's like, you can't do that. There's no precedent for this. So that might have been the way that this all unraveled. And we're not hearing Schefter or Rappaport or anybody, retweet it or talk about it. So it's hard to really know what this really means. We can make assumptions that this is 100% accurate, or we don't really know what's going on. You know what, Josh? We'll just remove you then. If you want to continue to say what you can do that somewhere else. You're gone. You're gone. I mean, that's it. How many times I got to tell you? It's not about disagreeing. It's about how you do it. It's about how you try and come in and disrupt the chat and be somebody that's a disruptor that tries to come in and just be a nuisance to everybody. Those are the people that get booted. You don't get booted because you disagree. Gotta fade Mahomes. Good. Tell everybody, David. When is his last great game this year in fantasy? When was his last great game? Great year in fantasy. He's finished as a top 4 quarterback more times than he's not. So the answer is majority of his career, he's been a top 4 quarterback. How's that? I don't know what else to tell you, but the guy's been QB1, QB4, QB3, QB1. And yeah, he had 2 years here where he was 7-10, but just like he was 8 here and rebounded to 3, he was headed toward that with this 10. But he lost Rice, he lost Hollywood, he lost everybody. And at the end of this year, 2024, he played like the QB2 overall for 5 straight games to finish out the season. So you fade him all you want. I appreciate your super chat and I appreciate you. And I don't. You can think however you want. I'm not mad at you for it. But you're listening to everybody saying that phrase. That phrase is so repeated across other channels. It's like a robotic regurgitation of, he hasn't been a top 10 quarterback for some time. 2 years? He was 7-10. So for 2 years, he's been a top 10 quarterback. And now he's just what? He's been a top 4 quarterback more times than he's been not a top 4 quarterback. And you're willing to write him off after 2 years of finishing 7-10? Brady finished way below that at times. Look how Brady bounced back. Everybody goes through a little bit of a lull when they're an elite quarterback, dropping elite numbers. And when you consider the circumstances of losing Rice and Worthy not being up to speed yet and having no wide receivers, and he still finishes QB 10, and they went to the Super Bowl and almost won their 3rd in a row, I think it's pretty safe to say Mahomes is a magician. Mahomes is what everybody in Chicago wants Caleb to be. Magic Man. How many bench spots in your 10-man league? I want to say 8. Maybe 7. Something like that. Yeah, it's not a lot. You end up wanting to pick up more guys, and you can't. These 2 super chats real quickly, or this one left. I have one left. David's has got a fade. Oh, that was the one. Okay, thank you, David, again. Fade them all you want. Tell everybody, please. Tell everybody Mahomes can't be a top 5 quarterback. I can't wait. Man. Let's go over to the next caller, who is the 765. I already talked to you, right? Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, my boy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right. Let me go over to the 925. 925, what's your name and where are you calling from?
What's going on, Smitty? It's Crizzy calling from LA.
Crizzy from LA. What's up, Crizzy?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say, do you think with this Rashee news, do you think it's like a good strat to grab someone like Addison, who's also has like high upside and is going to be suspended for the first 3 games, and while Rashee's going to play the first 4, and then once he comes back, they can kind of cover each other's suspension, and then bam, at the end of the season, you have 2 league winners. One that'll be a flex, and then Rashee should, insert into there. I thought that was like, I've kind of been thinking about that.
It is a good overlap to consider for sure, and definitely something that I've thought about myself. But the only thing is, again, if they agree, if you're planning for that and then they agree before the hearing, then they're both suspended during the same time frame. And that's probably a more likely scenario. But I will say this, like I said a minute ago, if you take, let's say, a Marvin Mims, who I love this year, and you start Marvin Mims for the amount of games that Rice is out, and then you start Rice for the rest of the season, you have a top maybe 7 wide receiver, top 8 wide receiver still. Marvin Mims might produce really good enough numbers that the gap between Rice and Mims is some total of 17 starts, not together, just when you need to use one, is probably going to rival, I would say, wide receiver 7 to, let's say, 7 to 10 numbers to be safe. But that's great. And keep in mind that a lot of people play fantasy football head to head, right? You don't play total points. If you play total points or best ball, marathon or whatever, then it does affect things a little bit. But then again, in optimal scoring settings, you have players that are jumping into your lineup to help even more so when Rice is out, because you don't have to make any decisions. And you might have a guy like Thornton that has or Tesla, who has 100 yards and a touchdown one of those games, ironically. But in a non-best ball setting, Rice, if you're doing a head-to-head and you end up coming out, 5-1 or 4-2, then did any of it even matter? If Rice comes back and you're 4-2 still, none of it matters. You literally have Rice the rest of the way. You make it into the playoffs and Rice is back, none of it matters. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we put too much stock into as if you need Rice the entire way. If you're able to win games with Mims or whoever, and you make it into the playoffs, guess who's got an advantage that nobody else has because of the cost of entry? You, with Rashee Rice at the cost that you paid.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a valid point. I agree with that. And then I just had one more question in my Dynasty League. I got offered, so I have George Kittle right now, and I got offered Njoku, my backup, in 2/3 for Baker, and I kind of need a QB right now. I'm rocking Purdy and Drake May, and I don't know how confident I feel with Purdy with all the injuries, and Drake May kind of as a younger emerging QB. I kind of want to see it before I believe it and insert him in the lineup. Do you think that's a good trade to make for a win now?
Sure. I mean, I like Baker a lot. I would rather have Bo Nix or Mahomes, but I don't mind that. And Baker could certainly be as good. I mean, he proved it last year. So I guess you could go. For sure. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. All right, thank you, Smitty.
All right,
appreciate it.
All right, let me go to
All right.
Thanks, man. Call anytime. Let me go over to David 909. David, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
What's up, David?
How's it going, Smitty? First off, thank you for all what you do for the fantasy community.
Yes, sir.
But I just had a question, right? So I'm trying to. I already have Rice, right? My bench is pretty decent, right? I got Scatterboo on there, Sampson, couple good running backs, right? And I want to be geared up in case that suspension happens, right? So which one should I drop, I guess is what I'm asking. Should I have on there?
All right, read off the players you're looking to drop.
I got Kyle Pitts on there, and then my main tight end is TJ Hawkinson.
I'm not.
I kind of don't need him, but yeah, exactly. I don't want to drop him, right? Leave some show out there for the show.
I can barely hear you, bro. You're talking into your shoulder there. I can barely hear you.
Okay.
Now you
hear me now?
Yeah, there you
go. All right, cool. So I got Tank Bigsby on the bench, right? Woody Marks, Kyle Pitts, Sampson, and Scatterboo. And I already have Rice, right? We're going to get the 4 games out of him. And whenever a suspension hits, so I'm just wondering.
We may not get the 4 games. He might get suspended earlier if they come to an agreement before the hearing. So you guys got to keep that in mind. It's not a lock that he gets suspended after the 4 games. It's what the current path is right now. If they go to the hearing, he's playing weeks 1 through 4. If they don't go to the hearing and they settle, which is what the news is. So let me read this, which I guess I need to read this whole thing to you guys. We ended up not reading the whole thing through. So the NFL initially proposed a lengthy suspension that would have sidelined Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice for over half the season. And while the September 30 hearing date has been set, it's still possible a settlement could be reached before the season. So that's what I've been saying the whole show, is that there is a chance that they reach a settlement beforehand to make that statement, or to make that suspensions shorter. Goodell might give leeway and say, look, wasting time, resources, money, a media circus, making this bigger than it needs to be. We wanted to give you 10. You said hell no. How about 8? NFLPA says we'll see you at the hearing. And they go, okay, fine, 6. The NFLPA says, hold on 1 second. And they talk to Rice and they go, you might get 8 if you go to the hearing. And then they say, well, if you take the 6, get it out of the way, it'll be done and over. And you will have no risk of that 8. You're getting 6 right now. They're going to give you leniency now on the number to get it all done and out of the way. So there's that chance. But, okay, I'm not cutting Bigsby. I'm not cutting Kyle Pitts. I'm not cutting so who are you picking up?
I'm trying to get Royals, but I have, like you said, Bigsby. I got Marks. I got Kyle Pitts. I got Dylan Sampson and Scatterboo on the bench.
Can you cut your kicker for now? And just wait it out and give yourself more time?
Yeah, I could cut my kicker and then just make moves based on how that goes.
Yeah, I would probably give yourself some time. You don't have Little, right? You're not cutting Little? That guy might kick a 100-yard field goal. So, all right, cut your kicker.
Because my receiver core, I got Jefferson, Rice, and Calvin Ridley, right? As he plays the 4 games, so I'm trying to kill all these other ball hawks, Yeah. So I want to set it up,
Yeah. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Cut your kicker. Yeah, I mean, I'll have more information on the pecking order of all that. We just don't know. Like even Scatterboo. Scatterboo doesn't appear to be in the driver's seat anymore for right now. But what if what if Tracy fumbles the job away? Scott is he's still a playmaker. So Scott's got tons of upside. So drop your kicker and we'll wait it out.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, brother.
All right, later. Travis, you're the only one left. What do you hear? What do you say? And actually, real quickly, Travis. Real quickly, let me just read these two. Nico, BT, Neighbors, or London in the second round, 10-man. I'm going to say London. And I know that that's bold because of how good Neighbors is. And Neighbors is maybe better than any player in the league at the wide receiver position, but Jamar Chase. And there might even be a debate there coming out of this year. But that toe worries the hell out of me. The shoulder is another concern in the hospital ball city that he lives in. And London's going to live in offensive glory. And when all things are close to damn even, you a lot of the times want to lean toward the offense. And if it's a great offense, if it's a top 5 to 7 offense in the league, it's going to feed London a crazy amount of production. So I'm going to say London this year, but this is not to say that Neighbors isn't, my number 1 dynasty wide receiver potentially. Thoughts? And so if that's a dynasty question, was it? I don't think it was. Yeah, if it was, it would, change my mind. But I don't think Neighbors would be there if it's dynasty. Thoughts on Devontae Smith if A.J. Brown misses a lot of time? What round do you like him in? I think Smith becomes probably a 4th round. Probably a fourth. If A.J. Brown was deemed out or something for 6 weeks, let's say, at some point, like if that was the case that you're trying to make,
jumps off.
Then yeah, a 4th rounder is a pretty damn good place. Damn good. I don't think I could take him in 3 because of the other weapons that are there that I just like a little better. But 4th round. But we need to have some clear indication that was the path we were on, though. Travis, last one. No, that was it. Okay, go ahead.
Ozzy sent a super chat earlier. I guess he said you misunderstood him. I guess all it was if Bijan or Chase isn't there, who should he take at 3? I said Gibbs or Lamb, right?
Okay. With 3rd pick PPR, if Chase or Bijan not there, who? Okay. Sorry, Ozzy. This is the same thing though, like Lamb or Gibbs, and it depends on if you need to go early RB because you will not get that particular position later. So if Bucky has no shot at falling to you, if you're going to be struggling at RB and taking Hampton early, but London could fall to the corresponding 2nd round pick, then you want to have the running back up above so that you can have the opportunity to get London. I'm not saying I wouldn't take Lamb and London, but I will tell you that I don't love my teams quite as much when I do go wide receiver. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if best player, called for it. But I would much rather, in hindsight, have Gibbs in London than have Lamb in London. Even if you could get Kyron, let's say. I'd much rather have Gibbs, London, and Kyron than Lamb, London, and then like Hampton. But they're all amazing. Like, you could win with either one of those. But I definitely feel like having the balance is also a really good thing. Sorry if I misunderstood that, Ozzy. Go back to Travis again real quickly, and then Red's on the line. I'll go to Red after Travis makes his other point real quick.
Yeah, just a quick trade question. Caps in the chat was wondering, would you trade Bowers and Bryce Young for the 1.01? I don't know if it's a super flex or not, so I guess in either
tight end
one.
Premium?
He didn't say tight end premium, so I assume
Bowers and who?
Bryce Young.
For the 1.1. Usually when a quarterback's involved, it's a super flex. So I'll answer both ways.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Bowers and Bryce Young and a non-tight end premium. It's probably tight end premium and super flex. You got to give us that information, or tell us it's not, because it's hard to know. I would say if it was super flex, no way I'm giving up Bowers and Bryce Young, I don't think, for the 1.1, which you don't know what that pick is, and you can't guarantee me you have the 1.1. He's saying the 1.1 rookie pick, right? Next year?
No, this year.
Oh, this year. It's not a projection. It's not a projection question. Okay.
No, because he also has a 1.02.
Who hasn't done their rookie draft yet? That's crazy.
I have in one league.
Really? Because whenever someone says 1.1 now, I don't assume that's the rookie 2025 rookie draft anymore. Because I think there's probably like a 5%, maybe 5% amount of people that maybe have that. I would think, or less. That's crazy. Okay, I would probably say so. If it's a non tight end premium, non super flex, give me Genty.
Okay, he's back
all day.
Super flex. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, if it's super flex and he has quarterback covered.
Non-premium super flex. He just came back in the chat.
Okay, if he's got like Fields and JD5, or he's covered, like Fields is his second quarterback, or Penix Jr. or Cam Ward's his second quarterback, I probably would say this is dead even still. Brett Bowers is a monster, but it's not tight end premium, so it's not like Bowers gets that extra lift. If it was tight end, Penix.
I don't know who his second quarterback is.
I don't know.
Caps, let us know.
Chat, what would you do if you're gonna kind of be hurting at your second quarterback a little bit to get Genty? Would you give up Bryce Young and Bowers? There's so many variables to this. I don't know. He's going to have to give us more information, because now we don't know who his tight end's going to be. There's no way to... In general, I would say it's pretty dead even. It's pretty dead even, but we need...
Tight end would be Ertz, and he has the 1.02 and 1.11, so he could...
Yeah, he's got to give us... Yeah. He's got to give us all that information. You can't piecemeal this thing together the whole way. I don't know.
All right, he has May and Penix. His tight end would be Ertz, and he could probably get Loveland in the draft.
I don't know, bro. Go Genty. Go Genty.
That's what I would do.
I like Bryce Young, but he's still not like 100% locked in for like next 10 years. Like we're very optimistic. I love the guy, but you sounds like you're good at QB. I don't know. It's a tough call. Genty, give me Genty. Genty was so far above everybody else, in the fact that everyone's like, he's the number one overall dynasty player. He's the number one fantasy football dynasty running back. The guy goes out and has 3 carries, not even with his team put together. His quarterback wasn't even in the game for part of that play. in those 3 carries, and he's not worth these kinds of trades. It's crazy, man. Genty's going to the moon. This is insane. But look, this is still a very arguable trade. Because, I mean, Bowers is electric and elite, but you're drafting Genty ahead of Bowers. You know, Genty's going in the top 5 of the non-quarterbacks in a dynasty startup. You know, he might be going number 2 out of all the non-quarterbacks in a dynasty. He would go at the 1-2 turn in a dynasty startup superflex because he would be one of the first non-quarterbacks taken, and you're probably going to have like 7 quarterbacks out of 12, maybe 8. And so he's one of those other 4. And you're not putting Bowers right there, but Bowers is a great second-round pick in a superflex dynasty. In a 1 QB dynasty startup, he's not even inside round 1. He's borderline. You know, Caps, I appreciate you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just messing with you, bro. But like, we need all that information before we can really. There's just no way to help you properly, and then we got to dig into it and dissect the whole thing. But Caps, you can always call in too. Appreciate you. You're the man, bro. Is Ron out of your bathroom yet?
And he said he jumped out the window when he got off the phone. So
you could tell when
I
Ron.
don't know how the hell he ended up in there.
You can tell when
around my property.
You could tell when Ron said that. It was one of those things that you kind of regret saying when you're trying to be funny and you just let something sling right out of your mouth. He's like, "Where are you at?" You're like, your bathroom, and he's like, "Shit." You're like, "Really? Okay. What are you doing in there, Ron?" And Ron's like, "Should have." Ron was trying to say something like your mom's, like, "Where are you at?" And he was trying to say like your mom's house, and instead he came up with your bathroom.
Did you hear? I don't know if it was his call or the call like after him. Did you hear when it was like this call being recorded?
Yeah, that was.
Pick up on that.
Yeah, somebody was dialing in and they hung up, and then it like went to that message.
Okay. Because the chat was like, I was like, "Is that Ron? Ron's recording."
Ron's recording from your bathroom with the camcorder. All right.
I always said Ron Navy, still special ops or something.
Yeah. Red, have you gone yet? Red, you're live.
I have also a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Who do you like better, DK or Garrett Wilson, and why?
Oh, Garrett Wilson by a country mile, bro. It's not even close. Number one, I mean, you're dealing with Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith and Tomlin. You know, you don't know how this is going to go. Aaron Rodgers looks very slow right now. Not saying he won't, pick things up here. He's got a little time. But, DK's changing teams. Arthur Smith is somebody I don't trust. And Garrett Wilson doesn't get injured. Playing with his college quarterback now in Justin Fields. The rapport is unbelievable. I wouldn't be surprised if Garrett Wilson was top 3 in receptions this year. And that might not put him in a position to be like, yard per carry leader or anything, but he's going to get peppered. And Fields' mobility is going to put Garrett Wilson in all kinds of open space. And I think, maybe that will put him in a yard per carry leader, potentially, coming to think of it. This is the way that Fields is going to operate this offense. I think Garrett Wilson is arguably one of the biggest steals in all of fantasy football 2025 when you're talking about the third, fourth territory for wide receivers. And I'll give you one more thing, and this is going to be on the Garrett Wilson video that I think I'll drop tomorrow morning. If not, we go live on it tonight. And it's ironic you asking me this question. Garrett Wilson is in one of the most strategically advantageous situations out of all the wide receivers in the NFL right now. A, like I said, he's playing with his college quarterback. The rapport is strong. B, he goes up against Sauce Gardner every day in practice. And the great part about what I'm gonna talk about tonight or tomorrow is that these guys are like best friends. And their rivalry is insane. And at practice, they're dabbing each other up after every play. And when one of them stops the other, they like hug it out, and they're like so pumped that the other one stopped the other one. Or when Garrett Wilson catches a tough touchdown grab on Sauce, Sauce gets up, they dab it up. They're totally supportive of each other, and they're refining each other's skills. Iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. That's what's happening here with Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's getting better every single day because he goes up against Sauce Gardner in practice, and they make it a total challenge, and it's a rivalry. And Garrett Wilson's refining his skills unlike no other wide receiver in the National Football League right now. He has such an advantage, and no one's talking about it. No one's picking it up. No one's observing it. No one's even mentioning it. This is going to be an unbelievable thing unfolding over in New York this year in terms of the skill set Garrett Wilson is going to improve upon his skills, bro.
All right, I'm going to give you another dumb question here.
And they're not even
close.
Like, Garrett Wilson goes in the third round, and DK's like not even close to that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to give you four wide receivers. You rank them best we can, okay? Right. It's going to be this is dumb because you can say the first one is already know the first one's going to be CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, Garrett Wilson, and Jameis Williams.
CeeDee Lamb, tear break. Ladd McConkey and Garrett Wilson honestly are tied for me. And the thing is, and understand what I'm saying here before you type all angry, it's not that I don't love the values and take advantage of them, right? If I like Garrett Wilson quietly as a top 5 to 7 wide receiver this year, I'm pretty much telling you that I like Garrett Wilson more than Ladd. But because Garrett Wilson goes in 3, and sometimes 4, and sometimes 5. Bro, I got Garrett Wilson in my 10-man buddy league, and my buddies think I don't have a wide receiver 1. I had my brothers in this league, and he ended up saying to me, he said, "Don't worry, I have no doubt that you'll rip someone off in a trade and be competitive." This is what he told me. And I've got Bajan, Bucky, Garrett Wilson, Travis Hunter, Kyle Pitts, Kyron Williams, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Debo Samuel, Mecca Buka. I've got more depth than I could ever use. And he's like, yeah, your running backs are good. And then my other buddy, my long-term buddy for, been friends with him for 25 plus years. He looked at it and goes, yeah, your running backs are your strong suit, but you're really going to struggle at wide receiver. You don't have a wide receiver 1. Like, these guys don't think Garrett Wilson is a wide receiver 1. He went in the 5th round. He shouldn't have gone in the 5th round. And this is what happens. Your home leagues are so volatile to different opinions. And whether it's on ESPN, whether it's on Sleeper, whether it's on Yahoo, is also going to change it up. If it's a 10-man, these are a little bit more magazine-style drafters than a 12-man. It just tends to be the case because a lot of sharks don't draft 10-man leagues. They don't even want to. And so you collect different groups of people in a 10-man. And this is a long-time buddy league. Half of us have been together for 25 years, and the other half is like the Brady Bunch. The 2 leagues kind of formed because we lost so many guys. They quit. They didn't want to play anymore. So we had about 6 guys that still wanted to revive the league. So technically, you could say that this league partially has been around for about 30 years. That's how long I've done this league. It's crazy since I was like a little kid. And so they when it closed for about a year or 2 because we lost like 5-6 guys that just quit. And so we merged with another buddy who had 4 or 5 guys. Same thing happened. So it was like the Brady Bunch. We came together, and we've been doing this for a while, but it's every league is different, and you're going to have a lot of crazy opinions. And a lot of times it comes in waves. Like the entire league thinks this way because it's a group of people. They're from the same region of the country, or whatever the case may be. It might be all from Minnesota, so they love Vikings players. It's crazy. But Garrett Wilson's a steal. What was your last question, though? What did you just say that made me go off on that tangent?
Saying rank 4. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Ladd McConkey, Garrett Wilson,
so,
and Jameis Williams.
So Ladd goes in the 2-3 turn on underdog. He goes in the 3 and a lot of non-best ball. Garrett Wilson goes in 3, 4, 5. He can go in round 5. He could go in round 3. So understand what I'm saying when I say Garrett Wilson is a guy I want more than Ladd, but quietly. Like if I was going to make a trade, I would trade Ladd for Garrett Wilson and Travis Hunter. I'd trade Ladd for Garrett Wilson and Harvey and give up, some other player. If it was a dynasty, I'd trade Ladd for Garrett Wilson and Harvey and give up a future first rounder in 2029, or something like that, 2028. So that's how my mind works and operates. Is Garrett Wilson quietly is going under the radar, and I like him better. I like him a lot better than most people, and I think he's right alongside of that. And then, of course, the last receiver was who?
James Williams.
Yeah, I like Jameson Williams, but he's not in the caliber of Garrett Wilson and Ladd. It means the number 2 on
100%. As you figured you would have said honestly it was Lamb, and then you would have went McConkey, then you would have went Garrett Wilson.
Well, I did.
Then you would have
did, but I did.
Yeah, pretty much that's what I thought. I just didn't. I wanted to hear you say.
But I am ranking
it.
It's like
you said before,
I am.
Like you said before, you hot pocket. You asked you why you took it.
Yeah. All right. Got to go, Red.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Later. Let me go over to Joel. Joel, go ahead. In this one right here, Milroe will have 1 rushing TD and 2 passing TDs, I think, says Jonathan. I don't know what that's regarding, but, Milroe's, you talking about the preseason game, Milroe's a beast, bro. All right, go ahead. Whoever I just said could talk.
Yeah.
Joel.
So I got Rice in my draft in round 5 last night.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's still a steal, obviously? You don't think it's going to be 10 games, right?
Well, I don't think it's a steal right now because you're going to be able to get him in 7 or 8 right now. You go on underdog right now, I bet you falls to 7. So 5 is not a steal to the current market value. The current market value. Do I think that you could still win that particular contest, league, whatever, off of the round 5 investment? Sure. And do I think it's going to be 10 games? I mean, I just did a whole show on it. I don't think it'll be 10 games. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball in this situation. I have said consistently, even though I'm taking an L on my prediction of number of games, I'm not trying to say it. First thing I did was say I was wrong, and I continue to do the whole show. But I'm not necessarily completely wrong yet because we don't have an actual number. The 10 games is coming from Tom Pelissero, and there's no other confirmation. Schefter's not talking about it. Rappaport's not talking about it. Neither's retweeting it. And so we don't really know where this number is coming from. Not to mention that won't be the number. It could be 6 games, and that will still be off of my projected 4. And last night I talked about 1 to 3. So am I going to be off no matter what if it's 6 games? Yeah, but if it's 6 games, you're still winning a league. The risk was kind of baked in. Like your 5th round value, you're gonna, if it's 6 games, you'll be fine. As long as you drafted some competent players to wrap around that, you're gonna be okay. 10 gifted memberships from New Age Outlaw. Appreciate you, New Age, dropping the 10 gifted memberships, pal.
Super chat alert.
All right, go ahead, Joel. Anything else?
Yeah, I got one question. I have a trade offer. So I have like a flex off pretty weak. So I'm going to trade Jameer Gibbs, and I get Achane and Trevion Henderson.
Is this Dynasty?
No, it's a redraft.
I take Achane and Trey Henderson over Gibbs. Yes, absolutely. Achane could outscore Gibbs. I have Gibbs ranked higher. I think Gibbs outscores Achane. But the fact that there's a possibility that Achane could be the number 1 running back. I'm not saying he will be, but there's a possibility, and Trey Henderson could be a top 7 running back.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Ziggy, shut up. Ziggy, stop. Why is Ziggy just randomly talking?
I mean, Gibbs, he's so good, but that's just so much value.
Yeah, you got to take that value. All right, Joel. See you later, bro. I'll be back tonight. Joel, calling tonight. Bruce. What's up, Brucey? Thank you, Caps. Caps to the moon.
Bruce must be happy.
Me? No. I'm not
good.
happy.
I can share that.
Hey, does anybody know? Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say Bruce sounds like the guy on Pirates of the Caribbean that's sitting up above and he's rocking or something, and he's got like a bottle of booze and his feet are hanging off, I think, and his feet are filthy. He's like just sitting there drinking a bottle of whatever, and he goes. This is exactly Bruce's laugh. I love it. It's like going to Disneyland whenever Bruce calls. Go ahead, Bruce.
I know you did the Sean Mess part of it, but how worried should we Rice drafters be?
Well, where did you draft him?
I got him earlier today, but in like the 7th round.
I'm not worried at all for you. I think you're just fine. I think you got him. I think you got him in a I'm going to lambaste everyone territory, and now it got ripped a little bit from you to now just being a damn good value, potentially league winning. It was league winning, now it's potentially league winning. Rice in 7 is where I'm smashing that value right now. Rice in 7 all day long. I don't know what anybody in their right mind would be thinking. If there are, I rephrase that. No one's in their right mind, and I don't know what they would be thinking if they thought that Rice wasn't worth a 7th or especially top of 8 round value. Just because things are changing, just because things look more bleak, doesn't mean that they're not advantageous at that value. That's crazy, bro.
Because I remember when I drafted him, I was in a room with all my buddies, and they're like, they were the ones that were like, oh, yeah, he's going to be suspended for like, X, Y, and Z. And I was like, yeah, I know. And they were like, no, he's going to be suspended for more than that. And I was just like, I put my head down. I was like, oh, God. I said, I pray to God not.
We don't know, though. I mean, as easy as it is to be like, I'm not trying. I'm not trying to give false hope here. But it does not appear that this is widespread past Tom Pelissero. And I'm not saying he's wrong. And like Ron said, he's broken, I guess, stuff before, but I can't remember the last time. I can't remember anyway, because it doesn't, you could probably remind me and show me something and go, oh, he broke that. But I can't remember the last time Tom Pelissero was the one breaking this news. And him saying that there's a 10-game number that was discussed, we don't fully know. What if that's wrong? What if everybody has this I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, what if everybody's having this knee-jerk reaction to this situation when it really is still going to be 4-game or whatever? Plus the NFLPA is not happy right now. They're literally saying there's no precedent for this. There's no alcohol deemed to be involved. Whether you believe there was or not, it's irrelevant what you believe. Your opinion doesn't matter on this topic. What matters is the facts and the optics, but the optics don't sit there and scream that, oh, he had, bottles of alcohol just pouring out of the vehicle. There's no way to prove. There was no way to say your alcohol was in your system. Him running away eliminated that risk. And if you were were to run away, a layman, not a professional athlete, we probably would have a cops at our door and we'd be arrested for fleeing the scene because of that same reason. But it doesn't matter. This is what it is. These are the details of the case. But the NFLPA is not having 10 games. Now, is it going to be one of those things where the NFLPA says to Rice, we may not like it, but they're pushing for 10, and the wiggle room here is going to be 6. But is there a scenario where the same overseer of this situation in this case, I believe, is the same one that oversaw the Deshaun Watson situation? We got to keep in mind that in any sort of legal setting, court setting, judge setting, that the arbitrator or the judge could literally shock everyone and go, this isn't an insane amount of games. It's not in line with, the policy. It's 4 games. And the NFL isn't happy with that decision. Now, is Roger Goodell, able to strong arm decisions? Who knows how this is going to go, but it's supposed to be independent. But if there is some sort of shocking result by the one overseeing this case, this verdict, you could say, it might not just be a heavy-handed verdict. Like, there's a chance that the NFLPA is saying their offer of 8 games is stupid. We'll see you at the hearing. And the NFLPA is very confident that he's going to get 4 games and that the NFL is going to be disappointed. Keep in mind, the NFL just had a big L trying to get rid of the tush push. It's not like, the NFL is winning everything. And I'm surprised that the NFL, a.k.a. Roger Goodell, wants this to be a long-term type of suspension because this is his golden team. So I'm as shocked as anybody. I'm the one most shocked about this.
Yeah. When it said it was 10 games, I raised my eyes. I was like, Addison's was worse, and he only got 3.
Yeah. Would I agree that when is more important than how many? No, not necessarily. It depends on how many versus when. Having the suspension happen later is much better. I don't care what anybody says. Being able to start off the season 4-0, 3-1, and then have him step away like he's going on a water break is much different than having to come back rusty, having a potential risk of injury, not being in NFL form, not having Mahomes and the entire offense that has been living without you, surviving without you, trying to get adjusted to you coming back. Anybody that tells you this is better to have the suspension early on doesn't know what they're talking about. I'm sorry, they don't. They might be speaking to the fact that, like, there's bye weeks involved. Well, who cares about that when your player's rusty for the first 1 or 2 games that they come back, and now it feels like if it was a 6-game suspension, it feels like it was an 8 because you put him out there and he didn't do anything the first week. So
I do have one question for you.
Hit me, Bruce.
Coming from my dad. Another Rice question. He wants to know if he should offer the Charbonnet owner, because he has Rice, if he should offer him Ken Walker for Rice and see if the guy bites.
In Dynasty, I'd rather have Rice by a lot. In redraft, Walker's more valuable than Rice if he gets, but you got to make the determination on it if you believe it's going to be a 6 to 8 game suspension. And for everybody saying, so in Bank, I don't know why you always type in capital letters if you think that makes people want to read it more. It's like when you see that, it's like a headache. Like, it makes me not want to read your comment when it's all in capital letters. If I'm drafting Rice, I'm expecting him to be available for my playoffs, or I don't want him. What makes you? Who are you hearing this from, bro? You're repeating something that someone's saying, that he's not going to be available for the fantasy playoffs. Like, if he plays 4 weeks and they give him, 6 games, that's week 10. Like, what are you talking about? You're talking about week 14 or week 15. Week 15, 16, 17 is your fantasy playoffs. Do you really think he's getting even if he got the 10 games and sat out the 4 weeks, he's back for the first week of your playoffs? If he gets 10 games after playing the 4, they go to the hearing and he gets the 10. That's 4 games, 10. Now all of a sudden fantasy playoffs. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's not going to even be 10 games. It's not going to be 10 games. The reason they're going to the hearing is because they don't want to accept the 10-game offer. So it will be lower. But there's no missing the fantasy playoffs. Like, I don't know what that narrative is being spoken out there. Like, guys, it's much better for this to happen now because the last thing you need is for him to be absent for the fantasy playoffs. Is there some sort of world where this thing gets delayed and then the suspension comes down after 7 played games and then they suspend them for 8 and then you start dipping in? I suppose, but then you get 7 weeks of him, and you did not expect, like, I don't know really what else to tell you. Like, then you've got a massive lead on everybody. Then you get into the playoffs. Like, there's ways to argue that this has got pros and cons to it, no matter what way you look at it. If you don't have Rice for 7 games or 8 games, then what happens then? Like, those people, and you might say, well, I'm not going to draft him, but if he goes far enough in a draft, and all of a sudden I make the playoffs and he comes back even for the last 2 games or whatever, and I got him in the freaking for free because people won't draft him, then all of a sudden I'm dominating the playoffs because I got a top 5 wide receiver. But yeah, there's almost no way, unless this suspension keeps the decisions delayed, there's appeals that cause this thing to go in a weird direction. There's no way I can imagine him literally sitting there playing, and then we're all sitting here in week 8 going, is he still going to play? And he's going to play week 8. Week 9, is he still going to? And then he gets his 6 to 8 game suspension and he misses the fantasy playoffs. Highly unlikely to go down that way. It's probably going to be he gets the suspension up front if they agree, before the hearing on a number that it sounds like a lower number, so we'll just take the lower offer to avoid going to the hearing and Goodell wanting to wrap this up before the hearing. And then if they go to the hearing, it's probably not going to be 10 games. I think this is a ludicrous number. It doesn't match up with anything in a historical sense whatsoever. The Addison situation was by far worse than the Rice situation. It just was, because that you don't have evidence of any alcohol involved. If there were alcohol involved, it would be worse. But they don't have that. You can have hypotheticals until you're blue in the face about it, but there's no evidence unless that evidence comes about and they're like, hey, we have this, actual evidence which was held back from the public. Then we're at a disadvantage of even evaluating this. I just don't. I think that we got to be cautious not to start drafting him and not taking, at a crazy, level still that doesn't account for the fact that it could be a much bigger suspension than we initially thought. But we also have to be careful we don't go in the opposite direction to where we're saying things like, I don't want him at all, when you could get him in the 8th round. When you can get him over Jacoby Myers. Who cares about Jacoby Myers? You really going to draft Jacoby Myers over a Rashee Rice in round 8.5? Are you really going to draft a wide receiver like, I'm trying to even think like what, some of the names we threw out earlier, no offense to even a player like Shakir. You think I'm going to draft Shakir over Rashee Rice, even if I get Rice only for 8 games?
Waddle.
Waddle,
Reed.
Break. Give me a break. I'll take Mims. I'll take a player like Royals to fill in versus worry about going Jacoby Myers. If anybody would take Jacoby Myers, Crad, you said you take Crad or Chad? Crad? You take Jacoby Myers. I wish you were in my league. I would if you had Rice, I'd offer you Jacoby right now. Ridley over Rice for right now. I would say I wouldn't be opposed to splitting that and being like, you know what, I love Ridley, taking Ridley, boom, got Ridley, and then in one other league you're like, I'm gonna gamble on this not being 10 games at all, like not even close. But Ridley's probably guaranteed 1,000 yards and 6 to 7 touchdowns, so that's pretty damn good.
Right. Well, so the thing is, like with Rice, so say he gets 8 games, so he, if everything works out right, he's going to give you 6 games as a borderline wide receiver 1. And the person that you're comparing him to, are they going to come close to that, or are they just going to be a wide receiver 3 on? I'd rather take the risk on a Rice who's going to give me 6 to 8 to 10 games of elite play, as opposed to some middling guy who I can put in my flex spot, where you can find flex guys anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, who else is on the phone line here? 231 caller, you're live. What can I do for you? What's your name and where you calling from? 231.
I'm not at Orchardview Cardinal Stadium, but I'm here.
Oh, Gump. What's up, Gump?
How we doing?
What do you say? What are you saying about the Cardinal Stadium?
He's at his high school stadium. I think it's
they're redoing it. They just redid, put all new stadium chairs in. They got like this big ladder.
You just go to creeping at a high school?
I'm about ready to coach. I'm about ready to coach the team. All right. Anyway,
He's 500 feet away.
Come on, guys. You know I was a star athlete. Now, come on.
Gump
Listen up
coaching a team? Oh no!
I swear to God, you know you
no.
want me
With
to.
his headset. With his headset.
Oh no!
You know you got to have a headset.
Gump, are you
binoculars.
Gump? Well, are you the assistant coach or are you like an advisor?
I haven't decided.
You're not a coach. You're not. You can't decide later. Yeah.
Well,
basically, you're hanging around the team.
You asked me. Okay.
You're hanging
you
around
asked me
the
where
team.
I was at. You ever watch the Blues Brothers where they got bring the band back together?
Yeah, Gump.
I've been organizing my band. I got
Water Gump.
I got the drummer. I got the keyboard player. I got Chris and his
Gump.
dad.
Gump this is how it happens when Gump walks onto the field. The real coaches go, "Oh God, here he comes."
Oh come on! No, they like. To be honest
water,
with you, the coach.
Water Gump.
To be honest with you, coaches like talking with me. I went to Michigan State. The coach was thinking about making me a special teams coach over there, right on the field over at Michigan State.
Right on the
swear
field.
to God, I wouldn't lie to you.
See, you're.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm just being serious. You know what I mean? I just got it. I'm it. You know what I'm saying? I'm it. I'm the man. Just like if you were a Green Bay Packer fan, Smitty, you would live on Lambeau Lane. You would live on Lambeau Lane with a green and white house with a big G on the garage.
Imagine if they heard Gump claiming he's a coach, and then later like, what do you what's your title? He's like, I've decided yet.
Hey, Smitty, I am a coach. I'm hardcore.
Okay, but Gump, you don't even have
serious.
a title yet. You don't even have you asked him?
It doesn't matter. You put a whistle in my mouth, I'm going to make sure the team wins.
But are you supposed to be coaching from the bleachers? Like, do they condone this? I mean, they haven't signed off on this. The other coaches are just like, what's this guy doing?
Listen. I don't have time. I don't really have time for all that.
Oh yeah, you don't have time for approval.
Stevie just bought the Harley. It was the police edition Harley. He's got it, and I've been trying to push him to be the coach so I could be his
Water Gump.
No, I do the water. I would. No, this is no. You want to hear something about coaching? What I really think. Okay, are you ready for this?
Not really, Gump. Not really, and I got to go. So hurry up.
I'm coaching you and the whole entire NFL right now. Right now, the whole entire.
I don't know what you're saying.
All them NFL players that listen,
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm gonna coach you up right now.
I don't.
I'm gonna coach you up right now.
Hurry up.
Okay, you know what I believe?
Hurry up,
you know what I believe?
What?
Okay, you know what I believe?
What, Gump?
I believe that some coaches could come along with the golden whistle, all right? And he's going to teach an NFL team how to run the wing T on the NFL level. I believe that.
Finish him.
I don't even know what he's saying. I'm moving on. But Gump, be careful out there. I just see Gump showing up in like an RV, just pulling up, and they're like, does he have a kid on the team? Like, no, he just shows up and starts trying to coach. Like, Gump, get off the field. Gump, get off the field. Gump, you got to get back to the bleachers, and you can't have a whistle. Water Gump. Happy Gumpmore. Hold on, I think this is him one more time. Gump, last thing, bro. Last thing. You got 10 seconds.
Oh, I called back because I thought I hung up on you.
No,
right?
I hung up on you.
But,
we don't know what you're saying, so just real quickly, you get 10 seconds.
Okay, but anyway, I'm being real serious now because tomorrow's my big draft, my one shot.
Okay, so you're not before. Okay. So
I'm being very serious.
Not
I'm being
a coach.
calm and serious.
Okay.
No,
go ahead.
who cares about that? I'm going to talk about fantasy football.
Yeah, who cares about the passion of coaching
you
the kids?
are the man right now.
Who cares about that side job that I don't even have?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Gump.
Okay, I got the 7th pick. All right. And it's full point PPR. I've been in this league for like 12 years.
And I already hung up. I hung up on you yesterday because you said you're
I
going
know.
Josh
I
Allen.
was just kidding.
No, you're not
No,
kidding. You say you're kidding when you get blasted. You were not kidding. You were going to take Josh Allen in round one.
I threw it out. I just threw it out there.
Yeah, so stop saying you were kidding. You wanted to see how I felt about it, and now that I didn't like it, you're acting like you're kidding. Go ahead, Gump.
Okay.
You forget I have a psych degree.
Okay.
Go ahead. What do you need? What do you need?
Okay. We need to calm down by the beach. Okay, we got to calm down by the Lake Michigan
Go
beach.
ahead. Go ahead.
And think. Okay, I got the 7th pick. All right. And I want you to tell me who the 5 players I have a chance that I should try to nail to my roster that on the 7th pick. What 5 players realistically that are there that are must grabs for me? Like you'd say, shut up, eat your blueberry pancakes, Gump. Shut the heck up. Listen to what I'm telling you, and I'm going to shut up right now.
I mean, Gump, this is
5 players.
This is not a unique question. Everyone in their draft has to make a decision like this. It's not like Gump's like, I got something for you. I'm drafting 7. This is like no other question you've ever had. What do you do? Gump, there's no good answer for this. There just isn't. You know, I don't know who's going to be there. I can't go over all the scenarios. Then you got to act. Then I got to say you're likely to get this guy or not get this guy. But then if it's running back heavy, you got to go this way. Like you're asking me to give you the amount of combinations that are in a deck of cards.
I can narrow it down, man. I can narrow it down.
All right.
I believe that Brian Robinson, St. Brown, and the Drake is going to be there. All 3 of them, receivers.
Good job.
Which one do I like the best?
I mean, Bijan, Gibbs, Lamb.
No, Brian. What's his name? Brian Thomas. Yeah, Brian Thomas.
BTJ. So if all those guys are gone, the top 4.
And Drake and
you're sitting there looking at the Drake. You got Barkley there. You've got BTJ.
7. Barkley's
you got
going to be
St.
gone.
Brown. St. Brown looks like a beast right now, just so you know. I mean, he looks really monster.
He does.
And you're a Lions fan, so that seems like a good fit for you. And it's not a bad pick. So you know what I would do? I would enjoy my Sundays, grab a Monroe St. Brown because you love the Lions and you love St. Brown.
I know, but
you do it live.
I love the Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I like the Drake too. BTJ is nice. You can't really go wrong there, my boy. Achan's even.
What I was thinking.
Even a thought. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking Achan. And honestly, in the league you're drafting in, I bet you London falls to your corresponding second round.
I was just going to say that. Yep.
Well, they're all high stakes gamblers that go to the
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Everyone
they're
acts like
big
their
money.
league's so good. Oh, man, this is a tough league. Everyone acts like their league is so tough.
You'd have a hard time in it.
I'm sure.
You'd have a hard time.
I'm sure.
But anyway, what I'm saying is, what I've come down to. This is what I've come down to right now, Smitty. I've come down to the idea that I should grab 2 receivers. Grab St. Brown and turn around to hope and pray that the Drake is there. What do you think?
I think you can win 1,000 different ways, and you draft the best player available, Gump, and it won't let you down. All right.
But there's one more strategy I'm thinking about doing.
Okay, last one, and then I'm hanging up.
What that is?
No matter what. What is it?
My first pick to grab Brock Bowers.
Okay. You're all over the place, Gump. He's a second round pick, so don't do that. He's a second round pick, Gump. All right, gotta go.
I know he is, but
Gump,
he's
get
the
back.
best tight end.
Get back to
He's the
coaching.
best tight end.
Get back to coaching.
Wait, I got a question for one more. Rashee
Last one.
Rice.
Hurry up.
I got Rashee Rice.
What?
You're saying he got a big suspension?
Watch the show, Gump. I just did this is a
Well, just tell me.
2 hour show. I'm not gonna redo it for you. You got
to tell me real quick. I want
we don't know. The thing is that Pelissero came out and said that there was a kicked around number of 10 games, and that's why it's going to a hearing, because the NFLPA said 10 games is not even close. It's an outrageous number. We'll see you at the hearing. So everyone's going to assume it's 10 games, but it's not 10 games. It's not going to be 10 games. All right, Gump, I got to go.
And then Addison,
watch the show.
Addison.
Finish him.
Jeez, man. That gets my blood pressure up. Bruce, your live final 10 seconds. Go, Bruce. God.
Hey, it was a good
Imagine
show,
that
and,
guy
and
coaching. Can you imagine him showing up to coach? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I called you Gumbo.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bruce.
You know, it was a great show, and we'll see what does unfold with our boy Rice, and hopefully I did make the right decision by picking him in the 7th round.
You made a fine decision. I'd take him in the 7th round tonight in back-to-back drafts. Okay?
Oh, and the thing is, did you I didn't get an answer, I don't think. Would you trade Ken Walker for Rice if you were my dad?
If I was your dad?
Yeah, because he
What if I wasn't your dad? Would I do it if I wasn't your dad?
Sure. I should have asked the trade calculator you invented.
In a dynasty,
But when to ask-
I take Rice all day long.
Okay. Yeah, it's redraft, and he just didn't,
If it's redraft, I still probably say Walker's got a little more value right now, but I don't know, man. At the end of the day, this could still be something where it's 5 or 6 games. We just don't know. I know everybody wants to think the worst, and you got to kind of like understand it could be that. It could be 8 or 6 to 8 games, but it's certainly, most certainly not. Almost certainly not. Can never say for sure. Again, the commissioner's hand could be heavy, could be light, and then there's obviously the hearing. That's a whole different thing. If this ends up being 4 games, 4 to 6 games, because the decision made at the hearing is not the one that's coming from the commissioner. Like, this could be something where it's like you have no right to make this a 10-game suspension. This is a ridiculous number. Here's what I'm going to do. Boom. Like, that decision can come down as he's not a repeat offender. There was no proven alcohol involved. Assuming there was in part of your decision, it's not a fair assessment. So I'm going to give him 4 to 6 games or whatever. So we'll have to see. We don't know. We have no clue. And just because Tom Pelissero came out with 10, and now everybody's accepting 10. This accepting 10's the number. Maybe he's correct that this got kicked around, but we don't know. We really have no clue. And because of that, he becomes an extreme value that I'm going to take advantage of in my upcoming drafts. Now, did I maybe overshoot some Rashee Rice shares in a lot of leagues and drafts by drafting him in the 4th and 5th round at some points? Remember, Rice climbed to the 2nd round for a handful of weeks.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the fantasy football population consumed Rice in round 2. Those teams are probably not going to be very well off. But that's why you draft throughout the entirety of the offseason, to take advantage of things, to move away from mistakes you may have made. And there are going to be definitely some cooked teams on this. But, that's why we draft and do a lot of drafting. All right, Bruce, I got to go. I'll see you tonight at midnight Eastern. Later, bro. Travis, anything else?
I've been talking about him for a couple of weeks now, but Gunnar Helm, rookie tight end from Tennessee, 4 for 48 with a touchdown in the first quarter tonight. So they're using him. He's looking good. So keep an eye on him.
Cam Ward was
I think he's the guy to start drafting in the late rounds.
Cam Ward was 2 for 7, not the best, accuracy you could say, or best efficiency or whatever for the offense when he was on the field, but he did hit it was a 35-yard strike to Amanor, which is awesome. And Gunnar Helm, like you said, 4 for 48 and a touch. That was nice, coming at the hands of Braylon Allen as the QB in that situation. Very, very solid Amanor number there, 40-something yards. Yep. And then over on the other side of the ball, there wasn't a lot of, there wasn't anything to look at because it was all backups. But Nick Nash is in there at least, and he might be somebody that becomes relevant again in conversations because Mooney is injured. And the way they're talking about Mooney, it sounds like he's going to be out a while. They're like, we're hopeful to get him back in 2025. Like, what? What does that mean? So, yeah. All right, Travis, we'll see you tonight at midnight Eastern.
Yep. Later, Smitty.
Later, bro. Okay, let's see here. Dynasty trade. My Josh Allen for Bo Nix, Bucky, and a 26 first. Yeah, bro. It might be the only pick or two higher for me. And 26 second, my other QB is 85. So, bro, let me just put it this way. I know it's a super flex for Josh Allen becomes a little more valuable over Bo Nix than in a 1 QB, but it's not by a margin of Bucky in a 26 first round swap. So it's a swap. At first I read it as a first rounder, but it's a first round swap. But I'm taking Bucky and Bo Nix over Josh Allen all day long. I think Bo Nix is going to be very, very good. So I definitely in a super flex would take that. I know Josh Allen and JD5 is huge, but you're getting Bucky. That's pretty solid, and I love Bo Nix, so I'm fine with that. That's a great trade. You know, trading Josh Allen's never easy in a super flex, but Bo Nix and Bucky's definitely worth it. Thank you all to my super chatters. Thank you to my BBQ with the $50 hauler, Ron Navy with the 20, BBQ with the 20, Benji with the 20, and Linton with the 20, and everybody else, Rambo and DTX and Blanco and Rambo again, and Sunbeams, appreciate you. Ozzy, appreciate your super chat. Thank you, Tig, appreciate you. Tig with the double. David, Marquez, appreciate you. Blanco again, Caps, and then B-Dub. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you all for the gifted memberships. Thank you, New Age Outlaw, for dropping the gifted memberships. And who else dropped gifted memberships today? I think it was Proficient, was it? Or yeah, Work. Thank you for dropping that 10 gifted memberships. New Age, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. That's what the show you're watching now is, that show. I'm also additionally live whenever big news breaks, which is this show here too, because I went live a little early and then just dipped straight into the 8 p.m. show. So we went live when news broke on this immediately. I went live. I'm also live at midnight Eastern every single Monday through Friday, pretty much. I'm sorry, not every Monday through Friday. I'm live pretty much every single night at midnight Eastern, except for Wednesdays right now. Wednesday night, graveyard, I take off, but I'm live every weekday at Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm live whenever big news breaks. I'll see you all tonight. See you at midnight. Make sure you sign up on Underdog now. I'll drop the link in the live chat. Here's the link right now. If you want to draft with me tonight, you got to hit this link. You got to sign up early. The code will insert the link will insert code Smitty for you. The code will get you 50% match on your first deposit, all the way up to $1,000. But the minimum is only $10. So they'll give you $5, and the minimum's only $10. You'll have $15 to draft, and there's $5 puppies that we usually jump in. So if you want to draft tonight, please hit that link. I'll see you all tonight. Don't forget to get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. That's my year-round rankings, bold predictions, trade calculators, everything, you name it. Look at these rankings, 365, 24/7. Don't forget to get on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/thefantasyfootballshow. The other link is thefantasyfootballshow.com. Everything is pretty much the Fantasy Football Show. So whether you're going to my website, which is thefantasyfootballshow.com, whether you're going to my Instagram, which is thefantasyfootballshow, or whether you're going to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/thefantasyfootballshow. The Patreon's a 24/7 live chat group. Here's the link to my Patreon right there. Do it live. See you all later. We'll be live at midnight.